In Game 5, 3-1 Seattle.
The NFL Draft is today. The Tennessee Titans hold the number 11 pick, and ESPN's Diana Russini said this morning that GM Rand Carthon and head coach Mike Vrabel have been in lockstep preparing for the draft, and that their draft board was set as of yesterday. And the Miami Heat eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a 16-point comeback in the fourth quarter. Miami forced overtime, winning 128-126. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff. You just play terrible and you keep playing.
And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company's delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live, thanks to Superbook Sports, live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios today. Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree drafts. We will be out here today. Speaking of drafts, for the draft tonight, 6 o'clock, Chris Sanders, Derek Mason. We will be live here at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Ian is here today. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
We've got some movement on the trade front. And so I know a lot of people are probably going to tune in and want to say, have they made the trade, or is it official? Is it done? Is it what? Guys, I'm going to tell you right now. I heard Willie Donick say at the end of the midday show that he thinks it's a 45% chance they're going quarterback. Guys, they're moving up to number 3. Like, let's just be completely honest. They're moving up to number 3. This was Diana Russini yesterday on NFL Live after Diana reported on Friday that the Titans didn't love somebody. Diana from the facility, the official spokesperson for Mike Vrabel, which is what Diana Russini is, said this.
The latest on what you're hearing on the Titans draft plans tomorrow night.
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. Oh, wow. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
You know, Rand Carthon wouldn't tell me. He said that they may stay at 11 or move up or move back. But my sense is telling me, a.k.a. Mike Vrabel. So Diana said that yesterday, that they love a quarterback, and that I hear they're talking to Arizona. Now, Chris Mortensen, less than an hour ago on SiriusXM NFL Radio, was talking about the first couple of picks in the draft. Here's what he said he knows about the third overall pick.
And I think 3 is an incredibly intriguing spot, and no question that the Titans have had some dialogue there with the Arizona Cardinals at 3, and obviously it's about a quarterback.
Okay. So Mort right there told you the Titans are talking to Arizona about 3. Now, this is what I would say. One of two things is happening here. Either the Titans are talking to Arizona about a move up from 11 to 3, or Arizona is letting everybody know that the Titans are calling about number 3 because they're trying to goad Indianapolis to move from 4 to 3 and send them a third-round pick or send them a fourth-round pick or something like that in order to get an extra player while forcing Indianapolis's hand. This takes me to the other report, Aaron Wilson, who is very connected in the league. In fact, I think he is the best unassisted insider maybe in the NFL. And what I mean by that is, when these NFL network guys are reporting stuff, they work for the league. So they say, hey, we want you to report, we want you to give the news to our league-owned network. Adam Schefter is tied in with CAA. This guy, Aaron Wilson, he got canceled a couple years ago. I can't remember what he said, but he did something and he got canceled, so he take C.J. Stroud. So right now we've got Diana, who, again, was reporting from the team's facility, and let's just keep it 100, is the unofficial spokesperson for Mike Vrabel, who is saying that the Titans love a quarterback and the Titans are trying to move up to 3. So we have that. Then we've got Chris Mortensen, probably the most respected insider in the NFL, who is telling us the Titans are having conversations with Arizona at 3. Then we've got Aaron Wilson saying the Titans are trying to do this in order to get C.J. Stroud. One of two things is happening. Either the Titans are, in fact, going to move up to 3 to jump Indianapolis to take C.J. Stroud tonight, which is what I think is the most likely thing going on here, or they're trying to use this as a smokescreen to force Indianapolis's hand. Now, here's what I think would be demonic. Is if Arizona, and this is why the Titans' relationship with Monty Ossenfort may play a role in this, the Titans don't move to number 3. But Arizona flips with Indianapolis. Right now, C.J. Stroud is the betting favorite at FanDuel Sportsbook, plus 150 to go number 3. Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are tied at plus 125 to go 4. So Arizona flops with Indianapolis, picks up a third-round pick. Arizona then turns around and trades 4 to the Titans, so they essentially get the haul that they would have gotten for 3 to 11, but they also get that extra pick from the Colts. And then when you don't give Arizona as good of a return as you would if you were going to move up to number 3, they at least can say, well, we got the extra pick that we moved with Indianapolis. But if that's the case, are the Titans and Arizona trying to scare Indianapolis that they want to take C.J. Stroud because they want to force Indy's hand to take C.J. Stroud? And then they take another quarterback. And I'm hoping that's the case. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I do not want C.J. Stroud. I watched C.J. Stroud this morning. I watched the Georgia game. That's the game where everybody says, you got to put on the Georgia game. Got to put on the Georgia game. And I put on the Georgia game today. And there were like 3 throws that he made in that Georgia game that I thought, oh my God. They were just beautiful. 2 of them were touchdowns, by the way. They were great throws. But at the same time, a lot of the things that C.J. Stroud does, it's simple. It's easy. The guys are open. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. All of his guys are better than everybody else. Then I watched the Michigan game. The one where they didn't play well. Because if I'm going to watch a game that he plays well, I'm going to watch a game he doesn't play well. And I watched the Michigan game this morning. And you know what I kept thinking when I was watching C.J. Stroud? And I've made the comparison to Mariota some this week about how Mariota was such a prolific passer. He was incredibly accurate in college. He won the Heisman Trophy. He beat Florida State in the playoff. They ended up in the national title game. Marcus checked every box. But when I watched C.J. Stroud play today, I saw a lot of Alex Smith. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful sense, because Alex Smith was a solid NFL quarterback. But if you're moving all the way up to number 3, you got to be better than Alex Smith. I heard Chris Mortensen say this in the same interview where he dropped that the Titans are talking with Arizona about moving up to 3. And he was talking about Carolina taking Bryce Young at 1. And he says, look, here's the risk. Actually, I don't think this was Mortensen. I think this was Gary Danielson who said this earlier today. But I heard Gary Danielson say that if you are going to take Bryce Young at number 1, what you are saying is not Bryce Young's the best quarterback in this class. What you're saying is in 3 or 4 years, we expect Bryce Young to be in the same discussion with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. And that is a lot easier said than it is done. If I told you you had to bet your house on one of these quarterbacks, you probably would bet it on Bryce Young. If I told you you had to bet your house that Bryce Young is going to be in the same class with Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, I don't think you would. Joe Rexrode would, but I don't think a lot of you would. I like Bryce Young, but I'm worried about his size and the fact that other than Fran Tarkenton, there's no quarterback in the history of the NFL under 200 pounds that's made it to the Hall of Fame. And again, if he's going to be worth the investment, he's got to make it to the Hall of Fame. If you're going to move up from 11 to 3, you've got to say, okay, can this guy in 3 or 4 years, can C.J. Stroud be in the same class with Allen and Burrow and Herbert and Mahomes? And I don't see it. I don't see it. I think it was too easy for him at Ohio State. I think that his receivers were too good. Look at it. He's got 3 NFL offensive linemen blocking for him this year. Both tackles are going to go in the first 2 rounds. The center's probably going to go in the second or third round. And he had great receivers. He's got talent. I'm not taking that away from him. Alex Smith went number 1 overall in the draft. He had talent too. But when I watch C.J. Stroud, I just don't see it. And I know a lot of the guys that I've been preaching about, Rick Spielman loves him, Bill Polian loves him, Phil Simms loves him. Phil Simms said that he'd take him over Bryce Young, which I wouldn't do. But I just didn't see it. And I know how you guys feel when I start talking about Anthony Richardson and about moving up to get him. And if that's what the Titans did, if the Titans, and maybe the reason why I'm thinking this is a possibility is because I am hoping that it is true. But if the Titans were to move to 4, let's say Arizona flips with Indianapolis so that Indianapolis doesn't let the Titans get to 3 and take C.J. Stroud, and they take C.J. Stroud, and then you trade to 4 and you get Anthony Richardson, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. And I will admit at the same time, Anthony Richardson has a long way to go and may never realize that. C.J. Stroud is absolutely a safer pick. But I just don't like it. I just see a lot of Alex Smith. And there's something about Stroud's attitude I haven't liked the last couple of days. Maybe it's the S2 score. I'm not interested. The idea, when I woke up this morning and saw what Diana said yesterday and what Aaron Wilson was reporting, and now that Mort has said it, makes me think it's 100% true that the Titans are trying to trade up to 3. All I could think about was all of that for C.J. Stroud? And then I watched C.J. Stroud, and he's got talent. He's good, but I don't see it. I see a lot of Alex Smith when I watch C.J. Stroud play. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. And let me say this. We can talk about trading down. Last night after the show was over, if you're looking at the stream, I went through all of these different team and trade possibilities and, what it would take to move up and then what you would get in theory if you were to move down and what would be fair value to ask for. I don't even know if we should be talking about moving down. I honestly think we've heard so many people talk about the move up to 3. And we know the Titans are looking quarterback, and we know Arizona is trying to deal the pick. I don't even know if it's worth our time to talk about it. I am convinced that the Titans are moving up to either number 3 or number 4, and they're taking a quarterback today. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. What would it take for the Titans to get to 3? Again, like I said, I've got the charts in front of me. I know what the value says it should be. I know what history says it should be. We'll get to that next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number today as we are live out here at Twin Peaks where the draft start and Cool Springs where the draft show starts at 6 o'clock tonight. And again, our draft coverage tonight is presented by our friends at Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com. Smoky Mountain Tops, your countertop experts. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com. Parman Tractor and Equipment. Again, visit ParmanTractor.com. B&B Flooring, BNBFlooringTN.com. D&M Development featuring the New Cumberland with views of downtown and the Cumberland River at thenewcumberland.com. The Nashville Sheriff, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office. The Davidson County Sheriff's Office is hiring correctional officers, 615-862-8170. And again, we're live at Twin Peaks. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Come on. Join Robby and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Hey, it's Jared for Hiller. Sometimes replacing equipment in your home can be overlooked until something breaks, but there's actually big problems that can come from outdated old vintage HVAC systems. Older systems require more maintenance and results in higher utility bills. This month during Hiller's Vintage Showdown, they're giving away a free HVAC system to the owner of the oldest unit. It's easy to enter. Just go online to happyhiller.com and submit a picture of your old unit. Everybody wins with a trade-in credit and 0% interest financing for up to 48 months on replacement. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Do you love sports, and are you passionate about helping local businesses and your community grow? Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and let me tell you, the best attributes of working with us on our sales team at 102.5 The Game include the ability to build relationships with local businesses, craft effective advertising campaigns, and the potential for high earnings. If you have excellent communication skills, think creatively, and have the drive to succeed, just shoot us an email with your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Stillman and Company podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to theGameNashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I think for the Titans, I think Rand Carthon going through his first draft as the new GM there, it's different. When you think about the quarterback spot, you're right. Tannehill, can he stay healthy? Do you have to push panic and say, I've got to go get a quarterback? I don't think you do. I just think there's stability. Coach Variable has done a really good job.
Great
coaching.
class of quarterbacks next year as well.
That's the thing. See, and I agree with you. And I think that class next year is actually even better than this class.
I agree with you.
And so do you push it or do you go with Kenny Hill and you see a little bit more of Malik Willis? Now, Malik obviously didn't take the strides I think they were hoping they would see, probably in the practice field and on the field. But again, an offseason where you can focus on football only is a good thing. But I think they just stay put. Like, I would not go – if I'm Rand Carthon and say, I got to go get a quarterback in this draft class, I would sit back, and if one falls to me, I'm willing to consider it if I like him. But I'll go with Tannehill for a season, and I'll take another player.
That was Mark Dominic on SiriusXM NFL Radio on their draft preview show. And he was with Rick Neuheisel, college radio, CBS Sports. And you heard Rick say, I like the quarterbacks next year. You heard Mark say, I like the quarterbacks next year. I don't care about next year. But it sounds like the Titans are moving up. It sounds like the Titans are moving up to 3. It sounds like the Titans are interested in C.J. Stroud. And so here's what it would take. So I crunched the numbers as to what it would take to move up to number 3. And so in order to get to number 3, according to the value chart, that pick has a value of $2,200. Your pick has a value of $1,250. You would need to give up 11, 41, and next year's second in order to get 3 and their 7th in next year's draft in return. So again, this is what it would be. You would be trading your first-round pick this year, your second-round pick this year, your second-round pick next year, and you would be getting the 3rd pick and their 7th-round pick in next year's draft. Now, they're going to look at the 12-3 move that Miami made with San Francisco a couple years ago. That was 3 first-round picks, and they were going to say, we want 3 first-round picks. And if the Titans trade 3 first-round picks, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not sure I would trade 3 first-round picks for Anthony Richardson. And I really, 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 really like Anthony Richardson, as you all know. In fact, he's the number 1 player on my board. That's the guy I want the Titans to get the most. But if Arizona's willing to do that, and I have to believe they've been trying so hard to sell this pick, that now that there's a team that's interested, the Titans probably have an offer on the table Arizona's not ready to take. So Arizona is probably sitting back and saying, okay, let's put it out there that Tennessee's interested, and let's see if this gets anybody else to bite. Let's see if the Texans, who have Cleveland's first-round pick not only this year but also next year, let's see if Cleveland or Houston decides to get involved. Because maybe then they could trade back up and get a quarterback. I don't know. But that's what it would take just off the value chart. Your first, your second next year, and then you would get their it'd be your 7th in next year's class is what you'd have to give up. That's a lot for C.J. Stroud. And I look at C.J. Stroud, and this is why I don't like comparing by the stats. Because I think college stats are kind of bogus, right? Like if you're Anthony Richardson or Will Levis and you play in the SEC, how can we compare your college stats to, say, Patrick Mahomes, who plays in the Big 12 where there's no defense, or Josh Allen, who played at Wyoming? I mean, you and I both know there is a significantly big difference between Georgia's defense and Northern Georgia's defense. So I don't get into the stat counting like that. I also think it's kind of lazy. It's like, well, instead of actually looking to go see what, this is like, let me just pull up the stats. And so when I pulled up the stats on C.J. Stroud earlier in the week, after hearing about the S2 score rumors, when I pulled that up, I looked at it, and I was like, you know what? He and Mariota are incredibly similar. Again, both ran a college offense, had better talent than almost everybody they played around them. There weren't difficult throws to make. They had the talent to make some really good highlight-level throws. But again, operating under the guise that the S2 test for C.J. Stroud was not good and that his processing was a little slow, I figured that's kind of like Marcus. And that's probably one of the reasons why Marcus didn't make it. But then when I watched the C.J. Stroud tape, I saw Alex Smith. And Alex Smith, and I want people to say that, Alex Smith is not a bad quarterback. Alex Smith had a very solid NFL career, and he was a very solid NFL quarterback. But in each of his 2 stops before he got to Washington, each team said, we like Alex, but we're looking for something better. Now, the other guy in that draft class, Aaron Rodgers, that's what I want if I'm going to trade up for the 3rd overall pick. I mean, I've already got an Alex Smith at quarterback right now, although Tannehill does not take care of the ball like Alex Smith does. So that's, if you want to do it, that's probably what is. My guess is it'll probably cost you your 1, your 2, your 2, and this says your 7th, but I think it'll cost you something else next year too. 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam in Portland is going to kick us off today on the draft. Thank you for calling. Thank you for waiting. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, buddy. I'm tired of the draft. I'm so excited it's over. It's here.
It's not over yet, Adam.
We don't have to talk about it anymore. I just get to hear you guys announce it. Hey, I've been all along, I felt like this has been like liars everywhere. Like, this is not, well, there's no way the Titans are taking a quarterback. I actually think there's a very good chance tonight that we take a quarterback. I've changed my mind as much as today, just because I think Rand Carthon, he's got some protection before he could get fired for his decision. So why not go ahead and let one rip right now? And especially on a pick like this, like you can't just call him a failure after a year with a pick like this. Like it's going to take a while. So that, and with the whole Mike Vrabel, bringing in homers. I know you don't like to think that, but he does. And sure. he loves Ohio State, and he's going to do that. So I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud. I don't like it. If you tell me a quarterback's an idiot, I'm going to believe he's an idiot. And I can't. I've said all along, I didn't think Marcus had good football smarts. And you're right. I see a lot in the similarities in those two players, so I don't want that pick.
So I really don't see similarities in their game. I see similarities in their situation. Thank you for your call, Adam. When I watched C.J. Stroud today, I saw similarities to Alex Smith. It's funny because I actually pulled up on YouTube. I pulled up Alex Smith College, and there's some highlights there, but there's not a lot because Alex Smith was in college in 2004. And so, YouTube wasn't the biggest deal back then. And I was just watching a little bit of it, and these little short crossing routes these little short slants that Ohio State runs, and where CJ's just pitching and catching right over the middle of the field. I'm watching that, and then I click on an Alex Smith little highlight thing, and it's Alex just pitching and catching right over the middle of the field. And I was like, I knew it. Alex Smith. I just see, when I watch C.J. Stroud, I just see a little Alex Smith. Now, Adam brought up a point that I'm not going to disagree with. And that is Mike Vrabel and his affinity for his alma mater, Ohio State. He hires people from Ohio State. He drafts people from Ohio State. He signs people from Ohio State. I mean, why the hell is Jamarco Jones still on the team? So Vrabel has an affinity for Ohio State and his people and so on and so forth. And I thought Adam hit on a very interesting point about the Carthon-Vrabel dynamic with this decision. And we'll get to that next. 615-737-1025. And, of course, I see your phones lining up, so we will continue to get to those all throughout the show today. 615-737-1025. And do not miss us live today out here at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs starting at 6 o'clock. Chris Sanders, Derek Mason, right here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Bite a Bit features all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails that you will love. Check them out at biteabitthaisushi.com.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi, and this is Nashville.
Going to the front of the net, he scores. What a gorgeous move. Roman Yossi.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Krebs Kubota wants to help you get your job done right with the parts you need and a service department that can handle maintenance and repairs from the largest excavator to the smallest two-cycle engine. For your farm, home, or commercial needs, Krebs Kubota will keep your Kubota running like a Kubota. Krebs Kubota, Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer, with convenient locations in Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Also online at KrebsKubota.com.
Harmon Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Harmon Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution providing totally outrageous customer service.
Spring into action. Take the short drive to Social Furniture on the West Side. You'll be amazed with Social Furniture's huge selection of top quality, name brand furniture. Social Furniture has your dream furniture on sale now during our spring home makeover sale. Why shop at Social Furniture? Great furniture, great service, great prices. Full service, hassle-free delivery, and interest-free financing with no money down. Make Social Furniture a great place to furnish your home. If you want a deal, don't wait, shop now.
I shop at Social Furniture because of the money I saved and the way I'm treated.
Hey, it's John Tesh. You want to know how to get better rates, better coverage, and better service on your home and auto insurance? Work with Zander Insurance. I know it's a big promise, but this team delivers. They've been around for almost 100 years and have earned the privilege of representing dozens of insurance companies so they can shop, compare, and find you the best options available. More options mean more savings, and in many cases, better coverage. But it doesn't stop there. Each year, they review your coverage to make sure your rates stay competitive. Nobody else does that. And when it comes to service, just check out their ratings. Zander is one of the top agencies in the industry, and they earned that spot with their commitment to making sure their clients are taken care of like family. That's what sets them apart. Go to Zander.com for quick online quotes or call 800-356-1780 for that personal touch that you've been missing.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, traffic, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
What would you say to the fans of the team that draft you? What are they getting out of C.J. Stroud?
I would say you're getting a complete quarterback. You're getting a really hard worker, a leader not only on the field but in the community as well, and somebody who's going to fight like hell to get a Super Bowl. So I know it's a lot of lofty goals and things that people would say from the uncommitted eye that would be hard to do. But for me, I'm committed to what I do and I'm excited. So. And I'm not going to put a ceiling on what I can do on the field. So I don't know what acclimates or what team goals or what's going to come, but I know that I'm going to work my ass off to get to wherever I have to be successful.
C.J. Stroud yesterday, lofty goals. I don't know what that means. I think he meant to say lofty. It happens to all of us. Lofty goals for C.J. Stroud. So in the last segment, Adam from Portland brought up the idea that Mike Vrabel loves C.J. Stroud because C.J. Stroud went to Ohio State. Ryan Day is the coach. Ryan Day is Vrabel's buddy. Vrabel, remember, tried to hire Ryan Day when he first got the job to be the offensive coordinator here. So it's just one big old Ohio State circle, you know what. And Tim Kelly went to Ohio State. And Todd McShay said that at the pro day, Vrabel, told C.J. Stroud, hey, take a shower and come meet me in the wide receiver room, and so on and so forth. And I would agree that Vrabel loves his Ohio State buddies and he loves his Texan buddies. I mean, I am not sure that Vrabel can turn the bias on and off. Like, I can tell you right now, Malik Cunningham, the quarterback from Louisville, he stinks. I can tell you, I don't want the Titans to go give Lamar Jackson $250 million. And that's where I went to college. But I do think there's something to this. The other intriguing element to me about if the Titans were to trade up to number 3, which all the rumors say they're trying to do, and they were to draft C.J. Stroud, which Aaron Wilson is reporting the Titans are trying to do, if that were to come to fruition, this would be a guy that general manager Ran Carthon did not meet with in person. They had Anthony Richardson in on a visit. They had Hendon Hooker in on a visit. They had Will Levis in on a visit. You know they're not going to be able to draft Bryce Young. They did not have C.J. Stroud. And I asked Ran Carthon specifically if he had the opportunity to sit down with C.J. Stroud. Here's what he said. Do you feel like you got to know, you talked about how important the personality was of the quarterback, that you've got to know C.J. Stroud well enough to have that evaluation on him?
Yeah, Mike and Tim spent time with him, in Columbus, at the Pro Day, and they feel good about, him as a person. And then the other guys, I think we have a really cool process when we come in and for our 30 visits, which I won't say publicly because I don't want anybody else to steal our process, but I feel like we truly get to know, some of these kids. You have some of the kids that come in with, what you have gotten just through your intel. And I feel like some guys you see a totally different person. Now, again, it's a job interview. Everybody's best face is on. But I feel like when we've sat down with these kids, you get the genuine person of who they really are. And so, that I feel is what makes our process really cool when we bring guys in for the top 30.
Okay, so I asked him, did you get the opportunity to know C.J. Stroud? And his response was, Mike and Tim met with him at the Pro Day. They feel good about him. And I'm like, does that count? Like, you're the general manager of the team, and you're about to make the biggest decision any team can make. If you were the standard general manager where you got hired and this was your first draft and everybody knew you were in charge of the organization and there wasn't this bull crap about collaboration that the Titans are telling Diana Rossini, we're lockstep on this. So if it was a normal organization and you did this, you traded up to number 3, you traded all the assets to do it, and he stunk, you're fired. Like there are no ifs, ands, or buts, right? But I wonder if this is different. I wonder if this is on Mike Vrabel. That Rand Carthon, he hasn't met with C.J. Stroud. I mean, that whole cut. Ian, how long was that cut?
It was probably without your question, it's probably about 50, 45 seconds.
Okay, so he talks for the better part of a minute right there. And it was all about how important getting to know the players were on the top 30 visit. Well, that's great, but C.J. Stroud didn't take a top 30 visit. So you're telling me, hey, our visits, and I don't want to tell anybody why our visits are so good because I don't want anybody to copy us, but our visits are amazing. We have the best visits in the league. That's great, but you didn't have a visit with him. You did visit with Hooker. You did visit with Levis. You did visit with Richardson, but you didn't visit with him. So you're the general manager, and all you have to go off of is Mike and Tim met with him at the Pro Day. They feel good about it. On we go. And you're going to make this kind of decision based off of that? That doesn't add up. Unless either Vrabel's completely in charge of this operation, which I wouldn't rule out, but I also am not certain of that, or he knows that if this doesn't work out, Vrabel's going to get blamed for it. And I do think Vrabel should get blamed for it. You guys crap on John Robinson for the signing of Jadeveon Clowney, but it was Mike Vrabel who endorsed it. When I was in Houston, we never had a problem with JD. He was the best. He was great. He was awesome. It doesn't work out, and it's John Robinson blew it with Clowney. I'm like, wait a minute. John Robinson, I don't even know if he knew Clowney from a jar of Vicks. But Vrabel coached him. But in this one, because we don't know who's in charge, because they are going out of their way to not tell us who's in charge, I almost wonder if Rand Carthon looks at it like, you know what? Mike says it's cool. Let's go ahead, check it off. Mike says it's cool. Tim says it's cool. And then when it doesn't work out, I'll look at the owner when she says, this guy freaking sucks. And I'll look at the owner and say, that's Mike's guy. Mike was the one who got to know him at the Combine. Tim was the one who got to know him at the Combine. Don't get mad at me. That's Mike's guy. Hey, no, the mob works, right? If you vouch for somebody and then that person ends up turning on you to the cops, you're the one who gets it. And so I wonder if Rand Carthon's thinking that way of, I get to take this big shot to move up to number 3 and draft a quarterback, but I don't have to deal with the ramifications if it doesn't work. And I do think there's probably something to that. 615-737-1025. I've been going through your text for a little bit during the breaks. You guys are on some stupid pills today. I mean, one guy texts in and says, what about the Titans trading Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia Eagles and getting the 10th pick and drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba. Literally everything about that is not going to happen. The Titans are not going to trade Derrick Henry tonight. They're not going to get a first-round pick in return for Derrick Henry. They're certainly not going to get a top 10 pick in exchange for Derrick Henry. And they're not going to draft Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, I mean, you can, what if that happens? I don't know. What if I'm the president of the United States? Then another guy. What if CJ goes number 1 in the draft? I don't need to look at this anymore. CJ Stroud is not going number 1 in the draft, folks. What is the matter with you guys? Texter said, Stroud had more around him, and that did help him make easy, but Richardson sure didn't make it look easy in college. He made it look really hard against Vandy in Kentucky. When you say things like that, that tells me that you haven't watched the games. Now, the Kentucky game, Anthony Richardson was terrible. But when you say that, what you're doing is you're telling me you haven't watched the games, because Anthony Richardson threw for 400 yards against Vanderbilt. They lost by a touchdown because the guy fumbled a punt in the end zone. Vanderbilt jumped on it for a game when, that's like when the Titans lost to the Giants, and they didn't run the ball worth a crap, and Kyle Phillips muffed a punt inside the 10, and Christian Fulton let the guy run right by him for a touchdown, and the defense took a smoke break at halftime, and Ryan Tannehill played really, really well and led you into position, and Big Boy missed the kick, and you ended up losing, and then say, Tannehill sucks. It's like you didn't watch a game. So you can tell me, well, he lost to Vandy. Right, and Patrick Mahomes lost to Iowa State. John Elway was 5-7 when he was a year older than Anthony Richardson. Wes in Clarksville says you're putting the carriage in front of the horse, Jared. If the Texans draft Stroud, none of this matters. I don't think the Texans are drafting C.J. Stroud. I think the Texans would be stupid and not take a quarterback. I think the Texans would be stupid to walk out of this draft, this first round, without a quarterback. And if you don't take him at 2, you're risking not getting him at 12 or having to trade even more assets to get the quarterback, which means an extra player. And I don't think any pass rusher, although pass rushers are important, like a Von Miller, like a Bruce Smith, like a J.J. Watt, they're important, but they're not quarterbacks. I think if the Houston Texans don't take a quarterback, they're stupid, but I also think the Houston Texans are stupid. So that's why they may not do that. I mean, look, Ian, you were the one that cut it the other day. John McClain said that he is certain the Texans are out on Stroud.
That's what he made it sound like. Yeah.
It wouldn't benefit the Texans to lie to people about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chad Withrow asked him straight out, so are they out on Stroud at 2? And he said yes. So, yeah. I mean, John McClain, he knows, usually.
You guys today, I don't know the kind of crack that has been put around our texters today, but, I mean, they're smoking something strong. To offset the loss of the second in the trade, could you envision the Titans and the Cardinals working DeAndre Hopkins into the trade? What?
Oh, the fans want some D-Hop now.
What happened to the cap people? Oh, our salary cap, Jared, is we don't have the money in the cap. What happened to those people? Do they not exist anymore? They not whining about the cap? Now that they think they can get an old DeAndre Hopkins? Hey, how can you get an old, aging, hurt wide receiver? How will that work out for you? Have the Titans ever done that? Oh, yeah, they just did it. And yet, these people, I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable how much these people love this stuff. 615-737-1025 is the phone number, 615-737-1025. More of your phones. Plus, the betting odds are telling us Titans at 3. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company right here on 102.5, 106.3. The Game. Sounds baseball tonight at 6:35 on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds take on the Omaha Storm Chasers, the AAA affiliate of the Royals. Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan. Presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure.
The crowd is standing on its feet. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Join 1025 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament, benefiting Souls for Souls, June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs.
Be the ball.
Support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes. Sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at theGameNashville.com/golf.
There's never a good time for your furnace to go out, especially in the winter, but it's always a good time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
Do you have a VA loan? In this housing market, homeowners with VA loans have access to a ton of instant cash. Hey, Willie Donick here. Do you need cash to pay off credit cards and other high-interest loans? How does a check for 80 or 90 grand sound right now? Loan Pronto is helping veterans every day get the money they need with a quick and easy zero-cost cash-out refi with zero closing costs. With a VA loan, it's really cool because you can access up to 100% of your home's value. That's 100%. Use that money to pay off credit cards, home equity lines, car loan. Consolidate all your payments into one check per month and close in 2 weeks. Most homeowners who do this end up cutting their overall monthly payments by $800. And Loan Pronto's all-digital process makes it fast and easy. They're doing loans with super low APRs, and they love working with veterans. Call now. See what your options are. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service commercial and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro, or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
Attention buckaroos, it's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
They're insightful.
To me, you got a left guard situation you got to figure out.
Credible.
I trust this guy more than this guy.
But sometimes they just argue.
Why do you like the NFL playoffs? Those teams lose.
I don't want college football to be the NFL.
When they get...
Robby, Stanley, and Joe Rexroad are Robby and Rexroad. Weekdays from 6 to 9. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The first question you ask yourself is, does this player have first-round talent? And I don't think there's any question that Levis has first-round talent. Richardson has first-round talent oozing out of every pore. There's no question about that. And I do think that Hooker does too. There may be people who don't, but the first four are certainly first-round talent without question. And then the next question becomes, who fits best for you? It isn't a matter of whether or not they're first-round talents, but who fits best for you, your style of offense, what you the qualities, the traits you prize in a quarterback, whether it be accuracy, arm strength, the ability to throw on the run, the ability to run the football, all of those kinds of things factor into play.
There you go. That was Bill Polian, former NFL general manager. Which one do you like the best? I do not like C.J. Stroud the best. Again, Diana Rossini reporting yesterday from the Titans facility, and if it comes from Diana, we have surmised that it comes from Mike Vrabel. And so Diana yesterday at the Titans facility saying there's a quarterback they like the best. Then Aaron Wilson put it out there this morning that the Titans are interested in C.J. Stroud. Then Chris Mortensen said about an hour and some change ago that the Titans are working with Arizona trying to move up. And if you want to know just how in the bag some of Diana Rossini's reporting is for the Titans, I point your attention to this tweet that came out at 8:30 this morning. Quote, "New Titans general manager Ran Carthon has been leading the staff behind the scenes for tonight's 11th pick." Well, duh. Speaking to people around the facility, Carthon and Vrabel have been lockstep throughout the entire process. Quote, "It's a collaborative effort," end quote. Wow. I mean, that's like did they print this out and put it on Amy's desk? See, we're working together. Mike told Diana. The other thing Diana reported was, "I'm told the Arizona Cardinals are mulling trade offers from multiple teams interested in moving to 3 overall," which means we've got an offer for 3. Everybody get your best offers in right now because we're trading the pick and we've got an offer. And so everybody right now, it's almost like bids on a house. It's like get them in now. Everybody get your final offers to me. Now, here's what I find to be amazing. Bryce Young is going to go number 1. According to FanDuel Sportsbook, he is a minus 5,000 to be the first overall pick in this year's draft. Will Anderson is the favorite at plus 250. No, excuse me, at minus 250. Will Anderson is the favorite to go number 2 to Houston. Stupid. C.J. Stroud is the favorite to go 3 at plus 170. Will Levis is second at plus 360. So there is a significant gap here that says that Will Levis is most likely to be second and third, that he's most likely significantly behind Stroud. Trying to say that right. Number 4, Levis, and when we started the show, Levis and Richardson were tied at plus 125. Levis is now minus 105. Richardson is plus 170 to go number 4. So what the draft is telling us, what the FanDuel Sportsbook app is telling us, is Bryce Young number 1, no debate. Will Anderson number 2, pretty likely. C.J. Stroud, feeling 3. Levis, feeling 4. Arizona's not taking C.J. Stroud, which means that they're anticipating, the sports books are, that you are going to make that trade. Texter into the text line says, "Jared, in your opinion, if the Titans don't draft a quarterback in this draft, what quarterbacks are available next year to move around for?" The way people talk about Caleb Williams, if you get that pick, you're not trading it. Just the way it's been discussed. Some people like Caleb Williams and Drake May more than they like this class. I don't operate in the we'll get our guy next year because you may not have that job next year. If you have the chance to get him, you get him. You don't wait around and say, well, maybe we'll try in the future. Well, it's I don't believe in that. Texter into the text line goes, "I do not want an Ohio State quarterback. None of them have panned out in the NFL. It's the system and the talent up there makes them look so good. Fields isn't even that impressive to me yet. Let's go with your theory, Jared. How would Richardson look at Ohio State?" I think Richardson would be pretty good at Ohio State. Now, I will say this. One of the touchdowns that C.J. Stroud threw in the Georgia game was this beautiful seam ball to a tight end. He fit it right in there. Richardson has some trouble with that. But I also think those 2 big runs that C.J. Stroud broke off in the Georgia game, Anthony Richardson may run those into the end zone for a touchdown. I ranked him yesterday, and I got Richardson 1, and I have Bryce Young behind him, and then it's a toss-up for me between Stroud and Levis. And I think I would lean towards Levis, but I saw a lot of Alex Smith I mean, why are people texting in this idea that Bryce Young may not go number 1? Bryce Young is going number 1. Well, Jared, what if they end up taking Will Levis number 1? I don't know. What if they take Jared Stillman number 1? They're taking Bryce Young. It's that simple. People, like 4 people have texted in and said, what if Bryce Young doesn't go number 1 overall? I mean, okay, like it's not going to happen. Texter says, Anthony Richardson has all the makings of Vince Young, and we know how that turned out here. Let me ask you, Texter, what exactly about Anthony Richardson's game is similar to that of Vince Young's game? Is their throwing motion the same? No. Is their speed the same? No. What is it about Vince Young's game do you see in Anthony Richardson? By the way, I used to always ask Floyd what happened with Vince Young because he drafted him number 3 overall. And every time I would ask him, he would have the same response. On the air, off the air, it was always the same. When I was here, the one year that he was GM and Vince was on the team, when I was here, he was the offensive rookie of the year and made the Pro Bowl. Whatever happened to him after that, I don't know. Which was his way of saying the coaching staff and Jeff Fisher and all of them probably ruined. That's what he was saying. But, I mean, like, what I want to hear is, like, are the passes. When you tell me that Anthony Richardson's like Vince Young, I need a reason to believe that Anthony Richardson's like Vince Young. And I know why you think he's like Vince Young, but that's not why I think he's like Vince Young. That's like I said, when I was looking at Stroud's stats, I was like, maybe he's like Mariota. I watched him play. I'm like, he's like Alex Smith. That's what I see in him, Alex Smith. Texter says, tell me the Florida quarterback that ever made it in the NFL. I'm trying to think. Has a Florida quarterback ever been good in the NFL? They've won a bunch of Heisman trophies, and they haven't won a lot of games in the NFL.
Nothing really comes to mind. Grossman?
Yeah,
he wasn't good. I mean, they won a little. Tebow.
Danny Werfel.
Yeah. Nothing really comes.
Nope. Texter says, what about going up to 3 for Will Anderson? That comes from Mason. If they go up to number 3 and they don't get a quarterback, they're stupid. I mean, there is not one player in this draft that is worth going up to number 3 for, and everything you'd have to give up if they don't play quarterback. Just think about the value. If you're the best pass rusher in the NFL, you make a little bit more than $25 million a year. If you're the best tackle in the NFL, you make $25 million a year. If you're the best running back, you make $12.5 million a year. If you're Daniel Jones, an average quarterback, you make $40 million a year. The value of what you'd give up to go get an Anderson or go get a Tyree Wilson, as good as those players may be, I don't think it's worth 3 or 4 players. Like Javon Curse was a really good Titan. He wasn't worth 3 or 4 players on that roster. Now, one time the Titans had the number 1 overall pick, and this was when they traded it with the Rams. And I talked about getting the best player on the team. And Floyd was like, I think they should trade it back. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, they already have a quarterback. And so what would be better, having an all-pro player or having Samari Rolle, Derek Mason, and Michael Roos? And I was like, well, you got to make sure you get those guys. And in that trade, they got Jack Conklin, Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis. And so unless you're a superstar quarterback like Mahomes, you're not worth that group. Jared Goff, in my opinion, he's not worth Henry, Conklin, Davis, and Smith and what they gave you on your team. 615-737-1025. TD will join us for the pre-draft edition of the TV Power Hour. We will do that next. We are live out here at Twin Peaks, out here in Cool Springs, where the draft show starts tonight at 6 o'clock. Join 1025 The Game for the 2nd annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura and benefiting Souls for Souls on June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities to support a great cause, plus you'll have loads of fun. And you can sign up to win great prizes. Sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf.
All the big plays.
Go right to score. Yoshi sets up Matt Duchene.
All all the big stories.
For the Predators, are you holding on to what you got, or are you selling some guys off?
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Green flag is in the air.
It may not happen that way every game.
His shot, stop.
Gotta play better, gotta coach better.
TD Tigers.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Calling a criminal defense lawyer or a divorce lawyer, you may think it's the worst day of your life. It doesn't have to be. If you have quality, competent representation who can guide you through a complex system, we can do that for you. Despite if you've been arrested for a DUI or a robbery charge, whether or not you're going through a divorce or a post-divorce, or demanding your fundamental constitutional right to parent your children. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with Moorbark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about Moorbark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit Thai and Sushi in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Featuring all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails, plus an amazing bar and environment. You can eat a bit and bite a bit with this week's half-off deal. Check out biteabitnashville.com. That's Bite a Bit in East Nashville. Half off at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Now, your Game Center update.
Brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. The NFL draft officially kicks off tonight. The Tennessee Titans hold the 11th overall pick. ESPN's Diana Rossini had the latest on what the Titans might be thinking.
Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
Don't miss our draft show starting at 6 o'clock with former Titans wide receivers Derek Mason and Chris Sanders alongside Jared Stillman. The Memphis Grizzlies survived elimination last night with a 116-99 win over the Lakers. It will be the Celtics trying to take down the Hawks tonight. And the Nashville Sounds are hosting Omaha once again tonight. Coverage begins at 6:20 on your home of the Sounds, 94.9 The Fan. This update is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff.
You just play terrible and you keep playing. And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman, presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to Superbook Sports, live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Today we are at Twin Peaks, out here in Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree drafts. Tonight, the draft show right here, Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, 6 o'clock. Again, we're following the latest rumors about the Titans, and are they going to move up to the number 3 pick? In fact, Diana Rossini is on ESPN right now. Ian, what's the gist? I know that we'll have that audio in a second, but what's the gist of what Diana Rossini's had to say live from the Titans facility?
Oh, pretty much just the fact that nothing official as far as like a trade agreement has been in place or nothing is in place, but the talks are becoming very serious. I'm pretty sure it's exactly what she said about the Titans moving up to potentially the 3rd pick, and that there wasn't necessarily a position unanimously agreed upon, but that's what she's saying, that the talks are becoming very serious about moving up.
Okay, an hour and a half ago, Chris Mortensen was on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Here's what he said about the 3rd pick.
And I think 3 is an incredibly intriguing spot, and no question that the Titans have had some dialogue there with the Arizona Cardinals at 3. And obviously, it's about a quarterback.
TD joins us for the TD Power Hour. Teron Davenport, he's all over the place today. TD, your reaction on the Titans' rumors about moving up to 3, and what have you heard?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens there. As Rand Carthon said, they are going to be in contact with other teams, and there's a lot of being nosy, as he called it. So it doesn't surprise me that they're looking to make that move. We talked back at the Combine. C.J. Stroud was a guy that they were, really interested in. So if they do make that move, and it's funny because you have C.J. Stroud dropping as a guy who potentially won't be the number 2 pick, and here it is, the talks about the Titans going up to 3 have increased. So I don't know if that's a coincidence. I don't believe it is. That's pretty much where we are.
Do you think that Rand Carthon is comfortable enough with C.J. Stroud, given the fact that it wasn't him that met with him at the pro day, it was Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly, and that they did not bring him in on a top 30 visit? And why did they not bring him in on a top 30 visit?
Yeah, that's the thing I'm really curious about, and that's why I asked Rand Carthon about how they go and evaluate these guys when they have them in person. And he was at Ohio State's pro day, so he did see him throw, but I think he is confident enough, and it goes back to that whole collaboration side of things that they've, really stuck to. So I would say yes.
Do you feel, give me a % chance that you think they're going to move up to number 3 and take a quarterback tonight?
I would probably say 45% chance. I'm going to stick to that number that I had before. Yes, I say 45.
So all of the reporting from Diana and Mort and Aaron Wilson saying that they are wanting to go up, that hasn't swayed you at all?
It hasn't really, because, I mean, at this time, you're going to have those conversations. You're going to have them, and you're going to explore it. So I don't think that, it's become any more likely than last week when we had these same percentages.
Do you think there's any chance? Something I was thinking about is it's obvious Arizona is telling people that the pick is for sale and has been doing that. Now, Diana is at the Titans facility, and as we've talked about many a time, usually what Diana's reporting probably comes from Mike Vrabel. And so Diana has talked about how it's serious. You heard Ian say right there when he just listened into what she had to say, and she was the one that said it was her sense that the Titans would do whatever it takes to get the quarterback that they like. And then there's Mort that says they're talking. How much of this is an advertisement for that 3rd overall pick from Arizona, especially with Indianapolis sitting there at number 4? And how much of this is, no, the Titans are for real thinking about moving up to number 3?
I think they're for real thinking about it, but I think it is a flex by the Cardinals, to make it known. Because if you remember back at the Combine with Monty Ossenfort, when he first spoke, I asked him if that pick was going to be available, and he said, yeah, they'll definitely be open. So I think you're just seeing that process continue to be carried out. And I doubt, even as close as Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini are, I doubt that Mike Vrabel would tell her that they were going to move up, knowing that it will get put out there. So I think there's a little posturing going on, and that's what's happening.
Here's what I think would be crazy, but not crazy in the Jared Stillman sense, but crazy in the wow kind of sense. If I'm Arizona, I'm trying to goad Indianapolis into trading with me, trying to move from 4 to 3, and then I'm going to turn around and try to trade 4 to the Titans, and so I can kind of double dip on cleaning up on that pick. And I do wonder if the Aaron Wilson report that the Titans were doing that for Stroud might have been a smoke signal to send to Indianapolis if you're Arizona. Hey, if you want C.J. Stroud, you're going to have to call us to get to 3. And maybe the Titans are looking at another quarterback.
I don't know that the Stroud part of it is a smokescreen because remember, I said before that Stroud was the guy that they wanted. So I don't know that that's a smokescreen. I think that's, information that's being put out there that's true. And, at the end of the day, if the Cardinals want to make that move and then make another move, they got to hope that the Colts take Will Levis.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of TD's with us for the TD Power Hour? What do you make of what it would take to get up to number 3? I used the pick value Jimmy Johnson chart, and to me, it would cost $11.41 next year's 2nd and next year's 7th. And my guess is Arizona's probably going to want more, but if there's not a lot of action there for Arizona, it may be the best deal they can get. What do you think would be a fair trade, and what would be too rich for you for C.J. Stroud?
I think 3 first-round picks would be too rich for me. That scenario that you just put out there, that's reasonable, but I just you really better be sure that that's the guy that you want. And I think Stroud is an excellent quarterback, but there are some question marks, and I don't know that I definitely wouldn't give up 3 first-round picks, but the 2, you're just essentially flipping 11 for 3, and adding another first. I could see that, but I wouldn't do that myself.
You know what? I watched a lot of CJ full way, because I think people hear the name Alex Smith and they're like, Alex Smith, but Alex Smith was a good quarterback. I felt like I was watching Alex Smith. I really, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, if I'm going to trade all those picks up, I kind of want better than Alex Smith, but Alex Smith was a good NFL quarterback. He went number 1 in the draft.
Yeah, I know. I actually, thinking about it, I like that comparison a lot because Alex Smith was a very, very accurate quarterback. He was a safe quarterback. He didn't turn the football over a lot, but he had some scary tendencies as far as making some of those risky throws. But the mobility was there, so there's definitely a comparison that I think could be made. The underrated mobility is something that C.J. Stroud brings. And both very cerebral quarterbacks. Now, Alex Smith scored a 41 on the Wonder League, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't have to take the S2, so that may be that may be what worked out for Alex Smith. How would you rank him? I heard Phil Simms say today that he would go with C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young. I mean, that may be a little rich for me. You know how much I love Anthony Richardson, but how do you rank him right now as far as fits for the Titans?
We'll leave Bryce Young out of the picture because I don't think that he's going to be an option. But
he's minus 5,000 to go number 1 overall right now.
Yeah. Well, that tells you. I would probably go. I would say Stroud, Richardson, Levis. No, I would go Stroud, Levis. Take care. I would go Stroud, Levis, Richardson, then Hooker. That's the way I would go. Another guy, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he would be great later on. Take care.
TD is with us, 615-737-1025. We'll hit your draft questions at the end of the hour, as we always do. So now the thought we'll get to coming up, what about the other players? It's like all these rumors have been about quarterback. What about the other players. We'll get to that next with TD Stillman and company right here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We are your home for every big pass,
Kevin Harvick takes over the race lead.
big wreck,
Trouble turn 2. One car is around and hard into the outside wall.
and big win.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
Yeah!
Catch every lap of NASCAR on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in 3 easy steps. 1. Get a free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with a check in about an hour. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Men, this is Evan Bass with the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and I've been helping men with sexual health issues for many years. I've seen the pain and anxiety that men walk into the clinic with when erectile dysfunction is affecting them. And I also know the heartache and difficulty it can bring to their partner. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've been successfully treating men for ED for many years now. We've seen the amazing impacts that those treatments have on a man's confidence and positivity. And we've seen the wonderful things those treatments also do for a man's relationship. That's why I'm pleased to announce that we are now offering the same great services we offer at our Nashville clinic at our new location in Franklin, which will make it much more convenient for those men living south of Nashville to get treated. So call us today and book your appointment at our Midtown location or at our new clinic in Cool Springs. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatment extra results vary.
Hey, it's Jared for Hiller. Sometimes replacing equipment in your home can be overlooked until something breaks, but there's actually big problems that can come from outdated old vintage HVAC systems. Older systems require more maintenance and results in higher utility bills. This month during Hiller's Vintage Showdown, they're giving away a free HVAC system to the owner of the oldest unit. It's easy to enter. Just go online to happyhiller.com and submit a picture of your old unit. Everybody wins with a trade-in credit and 0% interest financing for up to 48 months on replacement. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Half of me wants a cold beer.
Hey Nashville, Thomas Rhett here, and I cannot wait to be back at Bridgestone Arena.
Thomas Rhett, Home Team Tour 23, with special guests Cole Swindell and Nate Smith. Second Nashville show added, Saturday, September 30th at Bridgestone Arena. On sale Friday at 10 a.m.
Get your tickets at livenation.com and come party with us.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game and on Instagram at 1025 The Game Nashville.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, and like us on Facebook, too. You're listening to Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You know, the wide receiver class is, deep. The quarterback class, is deep as well. If we're leaning on, I think you said, Sports Center, if we're leaning on them, 4 guys should go, in the top 10 and another guy later. Also, offensive line, is a pretty deep draft in terms of just value.
There you go. That was Rand Carthon, Titans general manager. And it does look like quarterback is the talk. C.J. Stroud is the favorite, according to the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, to go number 3 overall. This just in from Diana Rossini, reporting on ESPN that she has heard, according to sources, that the Titans have had conversations with Arizona, and the conversations have gotten very serious. The discussion has nothing to do with a position, but that it is an individual player that both Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon like. That is from Diana. The only way that she knows that is if the Titans told her that. Because how would Arizona know that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel are not interested in drafting a position but drafting an individual player unless the Titans told Arizona that, and the Titans wouldn't tell Arizona that. So TD is with us. So TD, what do we make of Diana going on TV 2 hours or 3 hours, 4 hours before the draft and saying very serious with Arizona?
Yeah, well, that lets you know that, there is something in play and something that they are working on. I think when you look at it, C.J. Stroud is the guy. That's, again, what I've been saying. I think he is the one that they have the interest in.
I hate this, and I don't exactly know why I hate this.
I think it's because of the S2. You hate it. You seem to place a lot of stock in that, but end of the day, as you said, you watched that Georgia game and you saw what he did. I think he's a solid quarterback. I just don't know that I move up and take him. That's probably not something I would do, but I mean, look, we're not calling the shots, so it's going to be interesting. So buckle up.
What do you think it is? And I'm praying that it's all a smokescreen and that they're actually going to take Richardson, and I know that that's not what's going to happen. But what do you think it is that they see in Stroud that they are so enamored with that they would risk the franchise on him specifically?
I think it's the accuracy that he has and the way that he's able to make these things happen. You look, he's only got 4 interceptions in 2 years. So
sure.
He's able to produce, but also protect the football. And that's something, with Levis that didn't exactly happen, even though Rand Carthon did say how, he had worked through the interceptions with him, not him specifically, but with quarterbacks when they on their visits. But I think that's what it is, the combination of accuracy, protecting the football. And then you look at his playmaking ability. That Georgia game, again, it just really stands out. I know you got the 2 Michigan ones that kind of raised some question, but I look at that Georgia one and I say to myself, this is the guy that could be a really good quarterback.
You know what's crazy is I thought there were 3 throws in the Georgia game that I was absolutely wowed by. Outside of that, I mean, I didn't think that it was anything over-the-top special. I mean, I thought he was good in it, but I mean, a lot of these throws that Ohio State, these are these quick slants that are wide open right over the middle. And it's not hard to hit those throws. I mean, those are not NFL throws that they're asking the quarterback to make. And then when it comes towards the talent that you have at Ohio State, now, again, the throw to Marvin Jr. in the end zone was a freaking beautiful throw. The throw in the seam for the touchdown was a freaking beautiful throw. But I don't know.
I think those throws actually are throws that you ask an NFL quarterback to make. When you are in a position where, you want your playmakers to get yards after the catch, get the free yards, as Mike Vrabel refers to, you have to be able to hit them in stride and give them the ability to catch the football, accelerate through it, and get those yards after the catch. So I think those throws that he was making actually were. I mean, how many times do you see quarterbacks, be asked to work the middle of the field? That's something that pretty much all NFL offenses, they have you do that. You look at a lot of the completions, especially the Jackson Smith and Jigba, you go to 2021, and they were NFL-level throws, in my opinion.
What do you make of his deep ball abilities?
I mean, I think it's there. It's not something that's, I would say, hey, he does better than every other quarterback, but he could get the ball to them deep. I mean, how many times did you see, Marvin Jr. catching the ball right over his shoulder, perfect drop shot, and even Smith and Jigba working those slot fades and those type of things.
TD, what do you think happens to Tannehill if they take C.J. Stroud tonight?
Ooh. That's a great question because I think Stroud is a guy that, you draft him, I think you expect him to play now. So I would say they find a way to move Tannehill, and they save that $18 million in cap space.
Do you think there's a spot for them to be able to trade Tannehill, or do you think they have to release him?
You look, Washington maybe, Tampa maybe. I know they signed Baker Mayfield, but maybe Tampa. I think Washington is probably the best spot, but I mean, they have Sam Howell, so that remains to be seen. I would be very surprised if they just outright release him, but I mean, if they move all this to get Stroud, I would think they're going to have him play. It's different from the Trey Lance acquisition because Trey Lance wasn't ready at that time.
So we know draft smoke screens are real. And we know that what's happening right now and what happened yesterday and everything else, it's teams talk and say, hey, if our guy is available, would you be interested in making this deal? And the whole key to that is the if our guy's available. And then, yes, once that happens, okay, you call the team and the team says, yes, our guy's available, we'll make the pick. You call it into the league and then you pick your guy. Like, I don't think Buffalo knew that Kansas City was trading up for Patrick Mahomes, but I think they knew that Kansas City was trading up for their guy.
Right.
What benefit would it give the Titans to tell Diana Rossini at this point in time that they're moving up for their guy?
Yeah, I really don't know what benefit it does give, to be honest with you. And especially for it to be the way that she reported that, a particular player. Like, she made it clear. It's not just quarterback. It's a particular player, a particular quarterback. So, I mean, when you look at that, I don't know what they stand to gain from it, but, I mean, it's clear that was a nugget that was given to them.
Or do they want that out there because they're trying to force somebody else's hand?
I mean, you always have that as a possibility. I mean, there's gamesmanship with every draft. So, I mean, that's definitely possible.
How would you your thought on this as a reporter, more so than, like you're thinking about this exact situation? If I'm a general manager and I tell you, TD, you're a reporter, and I say, TD, I like the wide receiver, but I really don't like the wide receiver, I mean, is it your job to figure out if I really like the wide receiver, or is it your job to report what you were told by the general manager who just happened to lie to you?
Well, I think it would be my job to report what I was told, and then you could provide that analysis to it. But I think by all means, if that's what you're told, put it out there.
So could there be a reason for the Titans 4 hours before the draft to be lying about their intention to move up?
I mean, as you mentioned, the gamesmanship that happens, whereas you want another team to trade and you want to influence another team to do something. Yeah, that could definitely be a reason. That would be it.
I just, for some reason, something's not adding up to me, and I don't know what it is. And maybe it's that I just don't like Stroud. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you take any emotions out of it, like I don't have any emotions in this thing, it is confusing because, as you said, why would you make it known that there is one particular player that you want that you will be willing to move up with? You don't really stand to gain, by putting that information out there.
Sure. I mean, if you really, let's say you really, 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 really wanted C.J. Stroud and you really, 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 really wanted nobody to know, then the conversation with Arizona would be, hey, if this gets out, it's 88 and out the gate, and we're not interested. And what you would want is for Arizona to go on the clock, and then everybody on the desk at ESPN to go, oh, my God, can you believe that the Titans are trading up to this pick? This has got to be quarterback. And the way that Kansas City did it. I mean, that's the way that that's the way that it should be, but it's not that way, which makes me think that there may be like an ulterior motive here. Now, I also have been watching, like a CIA thriller on Netflix, so that may play a role into this too. But it's not adding up, Teron.
No, it doesn't add up, man. It does not add up. I think there's a lot of things to question about it. And, I mean, that just adds to the intensity of what's going to happen, the anticipation.
I will say this. If they end up selecting C.J. Stroud, the Jared Stillman conspiracy theory, I will be very proud of. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Let's get your thoughts in, your questions for TD. We'll hit them at the end of the hour, as we always do. Okay, what about the other players not named C.J. Stroud? What do we make of it? We'll get into that with TD. We'll do that next live from Twin Peaks, where, again, our draft show starts tonight at 6 o'clock. And tomorrow we will be live at the Wingstop location in Inglewood. Draft show night 2, rounds 2 and 3. Caroline, Derek, and Chris will have that for you at Wingstop, 3300 Gallatin Pike, where flavor gets its wings. The first 100 people stop by during the draft will receive a coupon for 5 free boneless wings for their next visit.
It's draft season in the Music City. What will Titans GM Rand Carthon's first draft look like? Our team has you covered. Join Jared Stillman, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders for Draft Night in Nashville. Tonight at 6. Live from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs. Our coverage is presented by
Harmon Tractor and Equipment, B&B Flooring, Harmon Energy Group, D&M Development, and Smoky Mountain Tops.
on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349 or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $59. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a GoWise air fryer for just $79 or an Amana laundry pair for just $449 each. Now through Saturday. Shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
Hey y'all, it's Caroline Fenton, and I want to tell you about my friends over at 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza is my favorite place in town. It's family owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style, always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open every day except for Tuesday and is located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 or head to 312pizzaco.com to order. 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Interest rates are up, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Don't sweat it out another summer. Replace your old unit fast before new regulations increase prices up to 20%. Get a new unit today at today's price and receive up to $1,500 off. Or get 18 months of no payments so your first payment's not due till fall of 2024. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Book your appointment now at springhillac.com. That's springhillac.com. And happy spring.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their homestand at First Horizon Park against Omaha. Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win. Pre-game at 6:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company breaking news in the NFL. Lamar Jackson has agreed to a 5-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens, according to the Baltimore Ravens. We do not have any details on this contract other than Jay Glazer said that it'll make him the highest paid player in NFL history. Just get used to every quarterback that signs a contract for that time will be the highest paid player in NFL history. But Lamar got his contract done, and TD, who's here with us for the TD Power Hour, let me just say, thank God. I am so tired of it. I am so tired of people texting you, why don't we just go get Lamar? I'm so glad that that's over.
Yeah, no, it is good that that's over. I think, I'm glad that he got paid, and it's. I want to see what the numbers are. Well, we'll see what that is. But you're right. You get tired of the, hey, why don't you go get Lamar and do this and do that? It's another option at quarterback that's out of the way that we won't get pestered with.
How much guaranteed do you think it's worth? And I don't know how much Jalen was guaranteed. I'm going to say it's a little bit more than Jalen.
I would guess a little bit more than Jalen. I couldn't. Let's 185 guarantee? What do you think?
I think that, what was the Jalen guarantee, like 160 something?
I think it was 179, right?
Okay, yeah. Then I think the Lamar's probably 190.
Okay, I could reason with that.
TD, what do we make? Is it a waste of our time right now to talk other positions other than quarterback and other players other than C.J. Stroud? Is it a waste of our time to do that right now? Or do you think that the Titans, it's worth us discussing other players that could be available at 11, other trade situations, and all the other kind of things that we would normally be talking about during a draft if the Titans weren't the number one topic of discussion as far as the rumors are concerned?
No, I think you always leave the options out there. And, we'd be doing the fans a disservice if we didn't speak about other players that could be included as options. And you never know. What happens if the Texans take C.J. Stroud at number 2? Then we spend all this time talking about a player that, with no other options. We cheated the fans.
Okay, so what do you think the likelihood is the Texans are going to take Stroud?
I think it's very unlikely. I thought it was interesting that Nick Caserio came out and said that, David Mulugeta, being Stroud's agent, hasn't made it any more difficult or changed their decision on whether or not to select him. I thought that was interesting, but I think it's unlikely.
Okay, if the Titans don't trade the pick and they're there at 11, do you think that any of the quarterbacks will be there? We know that Bryce Young won't be. Some people think Will Levis is going number 4. Some people think Anthony Richardson could go at number 7 or at number 6. Or do you think that if the Titans don't trade up to 3, quarterback will be available still at 11? Did I lose, TD?
You got me now?
Yeah.
It faded out. Okay, yeah, I think if they don't trade up to 3, I don't think any quarterbacks will be available to them. I think they'll all be going, to be honest with you. You look at Levis, there's a good chance he goes 2, right? And then if he doesn't go 2, you could very well have a team like the Texans trading back up ahead of the Titans to take him. So, I think all 4 will be going if they stay at 11.
Okay, so here's the list of guys that I think if the Titans stay at 11, they're probably not going to be able to get. Tyree Wilson, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson, Christian Gonzalez, Will Anderson Jr., C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. And then I think there's a chance Devin Witherspoon's in that group, probably. That would leave all of the tackles, TD, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, and Paris Johnson, plus Nolan Smith, the pass rusher, Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, the receiver. Which one of those do you think fits this team the best?
That's a good question. I don't think he would be the pick, but I think Smith and Jigba fits the team the best as far as giving them a player that could come in and impact now and a guy that, they could work the slot as well as that Z position, even the edge for that matter. So I would go with him, but Devin Witherspoon is awfully attractive as an option as well.
See, you asked Rand Carthon about Smith and Jigba, about the injuries, and I didn't get a feeling one way or another if Smith and Jigba's on their board or off their board, other than he said, well, it depends. Do they have a history of recurring injuries? And no, it's just one hamstring for Smith and Jigba. But again, it's not like Smith and Jigba's got 9 years in the league for us to have this huge sample size. He missed a whole season, one of 3 seasons. And so I didn't get a feel from that. Did you get a feel from what Carthon said about how they would feel about Smith and Jigba?
I didn't get a feel from that, but from other things, that I was able to kind of inquire about, I don't think that he would use the option.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you surprised that when Rand was asked, about the depth of the draft, he said quarterback, receiver, and offensive line? And again, the unnamed scouts are unnamed and things like that, but I was even listening to Daniel Jeremiah talk about the positions that are deep in this draft, and those are none of the positions that he brought up. I heard that, and I was like, either Rand's just saying it to say it, or Rand and all these other scouts and Daniel Jeremiah have a completely different opinion of this draft. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that media and the actual people who are making the moves differ on something. I think you have to look at that. Again, everybody has their own perspective for what the Titans want. This may be a deep draft at receiver or offensive line for them, what they want, because obviously it changes from team to team.
TD, if I had to say to you, and again, let's take the top group out: Richardson, Tyree Wilson, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson, Christian Gonzalez, Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis. If I had to say which guy, in your opinion, would you say this guy is the most likely to one day wear a gold jacket, who would it be?
Run that list past me again.
So Richardson, these are the guys you can't have: Richardson, Tyree Wilson, Bryce Young, Jalen Carter, Bijan Robinson, Christian Gonzalez, Will Anderson, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis.
So outside of those guys, who's most likely? Oh man, that's a good question. I'll go Christian Gonzalez. I'll go Christian Gonzalez because I think he's the guy that's going to get a lot of interceptions. He's a big, agile corner. So he's able to match up against, the bigger receivers and the smaller ones. I think you could bump him inside to nickel if a team tries to move one of their premier players around. So I would go him because, again, those ball skills, he's going to get high interceptions.
If Bijan Robinson is the top player on your board and you're sitting there at 11, and we know the needs the Titans have, do you pass on that kind of player because of his position?
No, not because of his position. And you heard what Rand Carthon said. He's not about to let somebody, downplay or degrade the running back position. But no, I wouldn't take him. I think it's important that you stack your board horizontally. And at 11, there still would be higher options or equally as high options as Robinson at areas where you actually need. So that BPAN need would match better with another position, whether it be receiver and Jackson Smith and Jigba or something along those lines. Because frankly, I don't think there's a big drop off between Bijan Robinson and Gibbs and even Spears at Tulane.
See, that's what I was going to ask you: are you as big of a believer as everybody else is in Bijan Robinson? Because the way that I listen to everybody talk about Bijan Robinson is like he's Barry Sanders out there, and I'm still of the belief that you can win games with a running back in the NFL. I don't know if you can win a championship with the running back as your lead dog, but like Eric Dickerson and Barry Sanders and those guys, Earl Campbell, they didn't win championships either. So it's not like, today's era, it's just outside of Terrell Davis, who had John Elway as his quarterback, it's hard for me to envision a running back carrying a team to the championship, really, period. But I still think you can win games because of the running back. It sounds like they say Bijan Robinson's that kind of guy. Do you buy that?
Yeah, I think he's that kind of guy. I definitely do. There's just things that some of the other guys do that I think keep them right in the same realm as him. But, you're right. You could win games. We've watched 18 win games over the last 6 years, right, with a running back, led by a running back. So you could win them. I think, even you mentioned Terrell Davis. Well, John Elway didn't win until he had Terrell Davis. So that's something we definitely have to mention.
Your thoughts on the linemen if it comes down to Skoronski, Jones, and Johnson?
I think Skoronski actually would be the best option because he's someone I think plug and play a left guard, and he'll go in and you'll have that position solidified for quite some time. But you also have that luxury if it doesn't work out with Dillard, because, that deal is essentially a 2-year deal, right? So if that doesn't work out, you could bump him outside and he could take over the left tackle. So it's kind of buy one, get one free.
See, positional value, is a Pro Bowl guard, when I'm not expecting to pick 11th, is a Pro Bowl guard worth the 11th overall pick in a draft?
I think I would say yes. Yes, especially for a team like this that struggles so badly to protect the quarterback when they lost a Pro Bowl guard.
TD is with us. We're to your phones next. Your draft questions for TD, 615-737-1025, the TD Power Hour. We are live from Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexroad.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
The choice is yours, Wednesdays at 8:45. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies. Now hiring experienced sprinkler experts. Go to jarrettfire.com. JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, a company above and beyond industry standards.
Michelle Knezvik here for Superbook Sports. Baseball is back and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. Make it all count this spring with Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports is the best wagering app around with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in the one and only Superbook in Las Vegas. Plus, get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day. Don't let spring pass you by without winning some money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Start your day with a cup of Joe. Ugh, he's gonna think that's stupid.
Wait, what?
Robby Stanley and Joe Rexroad are Robby and Rexroad. There, that sounds better.
Thank you so much.
Weekdays from 6 to 9. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company, again, we are keeping track of the Titans and the number 3 overall pick. According to Diana Rossini, within the last hour, the Titans have had serious conversations with Arizona about the 3rd pick. The conversations have gotten very serious, and it has nothing to do with positions, or it has everything to do with a specific player. Excuse me for one second. Okay, the TD Power Hour. TD is with us, and by the way, we all think that means Bryce Young, or CJ Stroud. And by the way, the betting markets are saying it's CJ Stroud at 3, which means you. 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We are live at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. TD is with us. Gustavo is going to kick us off. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Gustavo, you're on with TD.
Hi, how you doing? I just want to ask you a couple of questions. You guys know there's a lot. I don't know what's the names, but Dwayne Haskins, how was he coming out? Did everybody think he was going to be great?
Well, yeah, I mean, there were thoughts that he was going to be a really good quarterback. One thing you have to look at is the situation that he fell into. They didn't do him any favors there in Washington. They haven't done a lot of young quarterbacks favors. So, yeah,
I remember hearing something just recently that someone said that there's a product of the system they have. That's what I'm afraid about Stroud. And someone also mentioned last week, one of your great sportscasters there, that if we would put McNair in Penn State where Kerry Collins was playing, how good would he have been? So if we would have put Stroud over in where the kid from Kentucky is at, how good would he be? You follow what I'm saying on all this?
Thank you for
no,
your call,
I follow.
Gustavo.
That's always a tough thing to do, those type of projections. I don't know how good he would have been, but I do believe that Stroud has better decision making as far as, not trying to put the ball in harm's way and just having that supreme confidence that he can make any throw. He feels that way, but he won't do it dangerously.
See, I'm not sure. Like, I do worry that the lack of interceptions in college for Stroud will not follow him to the NFL. Similarly to how they didn't follow Marcus, when it was more, hey man, you've got to read and react to what's in front of you, as opposed to, hey, we've practiced this 15 times, now go throw it to Marvin Jr.
Let's say that one more time.
I'm worried that even though he doesn't turn the ball over, talking about Stroud in college, I'm worried that will not follow him to the NFL when he's playing with worse players. Mariota never turned the ball over in college either, but man, I mean, TD, you saw some of those interceptions he threw, and I love Marcus, and I know you do too, the guy. Some of those interceptions Marcus threw, it was like, dude, what were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, right now all we could do is analyze what we've seen him do. But I hear what you're saying there. But again, it goes back to what I said before. I'm not going to give all of that credit that success to the receivers. I think someone has to get the ball to them. And, Stroud made some really good throws. And you talk about the deep passing ability. He got the ball to Chris Olave down the field a lot of times. Now, granted, a lot of it was wide open, but you still got to get the ball there to him. So I think Stroud would be good even without those weapons. But obviously having those guys enhanced them, and they were able to work together and find success.
Mike is up next here on the TD Power Hour. Mike, you're on with Teron Davenport.
Thank you, guys. So, Teron, guys, I'm concerned that the cost of what's going to take to get from 11 to 3 is just going to make it almost impossible to fill the basic needs that we have at the other positions that are going to fill out. I don't know what the projections of what it would take to make that trade. I mean, you can't go to any website and find the same mock trade, if you will, because, again, the people that make those kind of posts, I don't know how much credibility you can realistically take from any of that. But if hypothetically the Cardinals were to take our first pick, obviously, and trading down, and then all of our day 2 picks, are we going to be okay with filling out the rest of our team's needs with the day 3 guys that are out there?
Thank you for your call,
Mike. That's a really good question. I think really what that comes down to is looking at the draft as more than just a 1-year thing, right? And the whole process itself, right? If they make this trade, it's not to win in 2023 and probably not at all in 2024, But I think when you look at the cap space that they're going to have, all the money to spend, they'll be able to go out and get those free agents. And it will come down to being in a situation where you have a quarterback that you feel is your guy on a rookie deal, a low-cost rookie deal, and you just go out and you build around him, just like the Seahawks did, like the 49ers did, when they had Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick, what the Eagles did last year with Jalen Hurts.
Texter into the text line says, TD, what do you think about what Arizona is going to want in return?
Yeah. They're going to want a little something because, this is the first deal that Ossenfort is doing too, right? So he's looking to set himself up to be able to be there in Arizona for a long time and add some significant players there, and I think they're going to want a lot. And you look at the Trey Lance trade, that's the one we keep mentioning, right? And that was 3 first-round picks, and it was also a third. So that's something that I would imagine Arizona would want as the floor. But, I mean, that trade proposition that you made, Jared, I think that's something that, could be reasonable. But, again, I wouldn't do it.
11-41, next year's second, next year's 7th. Texter says, let's say, hypothetically, the Titans don't pick any of the first 5 quarterbacks. Are there any quarterbacks later in the draft that could become your version of Brock Purdy?
I mentioned Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think you look at him. I still feel Stetson Bennett could be a productive guy late as well. Those are two. Just kind of thinking through. Yeah, those would probably be the two that I've mentioned. Clayton Tune out of Houston is another guy that would be intriguing, but I'll go with the first two I said.
Texter says, TD, do you think the Titans would move off of Tannehill with Stroud and leave Malik as the backup or bring in another backup?
Ooh, I think they would probably have to grab one of those veterans out there and just let them all compete. That's what I think they would do. Willis is a guy that, is just going to continue to develop. And I know you've given up on him at this point. I don't think they should do that, but I would definitely bring in another guy to compete.
The Canadian Titan asks, TD, a lot of speculation that Zay Flowers could be a move the Titans make. Have you heard anything about this, and why do you think the Titans would go with Flowers over Smith and Jigba?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that myself, but there was the report that they told him to get used to Nashville. And he did have a good conversation. He said, he told Jim White he had a good conversation with the, with Mike Vrabel. So you have that. I think if they were to go Zay Flowers over Smith and Jigba, it would be the explosiveness, the downfield pass catching ability that he has. He's a big time playmaker. He brings speed, that 4.42, but it's like a 4.3 on the field because you always see him running by DBs. So I think that would be just a part of that whole desire to get faster.
Texter asks the question, TD, do you envision Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, or Ryan Tannehill being part of any trades we could see tonight?
I don't envision, but that could really change. If Tannehill and they change the quarterback position, that could really change. So I don't envision it, but I'm not going to rule it out.
Texter into the text line says, TD says that says, TD, it feels like every argument that Jared has made about C.J. Stroud is an argument that can be made against every single quarterback. What are the weaknesses in Stroud's game?
I think he can improve a bit as a deep ball passer, but I don't really think there's too many weaknesses in his game. I like the way he processes, go through the read. He is more mobile and athletic than he's shown. He just hasn't had to show it. I don't really. That's a good one. I don't really see a lot of weaknesses in his game. I think that if anything, you could say, okay, well, he may not have the same ceiling that these other guys could have. That's probably the only thing you could say. But I mean, he's out there making things look easy. When I watch him.
Texter says, TD, I know you guys have heard all the rumors about trading up, but do you think the Titans are even entertaining options to trade down?
Trading down, I don't think that's something that they would be interested in doing. Oh, wait, did he say trade down?
Yeah.
Yeah, trade down. No, trade down is something. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that they could end up doing because you look, they have the interest in Zay Flowers. They have the interest, in a guy like Osiris Torrance, and they have 6 picks. If they want to add to that, then how do they do it? Trade down. So I definitely think that could be in the mix.
TD, as always, with us on the TD Power Hour. We will hear TD throughout the night tonight on our draft coverage. He will be live at Titans headquarters tonight as that is going on. TD, great stuff. Appreciate your time. We will talk later tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate your patience with me today, man.
All good, TD. TD, as always, joining us on the program. All right, the latest reports about the Titans. I think that this is inevitable, what is going to happen tonight. We will get to that next. Stillman and Company live from Twin Peaks right here. The draft show starts in 2 hours. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
Blown out in one game against a team that's just flat out better than you.
And your source for Nashville sports.
How many needs are you going to create for yourself this offseason?
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Laying waste to your town. Mastodon. Gojira. The Mega Monsters Tour. May 2nd at Nashville Municipal Auditorium. With special guest, Lord Ashore.
Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Total sensory overload. Mastodon and Gojira.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Do you love sports, and are you passionate about helping local businesses and your community grow? Hey, it's Chase McCabe, and let me tell you, the best attributes of working with us on our sales team at 1025 The Game include the ability to build relationships with local businesses, craft effective advertising campaigns, and the potential for high earnings. If you have excellent communication skills, think creatively, and have the drive to succeed, just shoot us an email with your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
This is Jim Mitchell at Mr. Transmission in Madison. Many of you care about a cure for cystic fibrosis. I care a lot and support the Saturday, May 6th golf tournament at Hendersonville's beautiful Country Hill Golf Course. It's the CureForOurFriends.org 9th annual golf tournament for cystic fibrosis. Tee off at 7:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. on May the 6th. Lots of prizes and sports stars, lunch and dinner provided for each tee time. Sign up at CureForOurFriends.org. That's CureForOurFriends.org.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TETL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text KETTLE to 321-321. That's kettle to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Now, your Game Center update.
Brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. The NFL Draft officially kicks off tonight. The Tennessee Titans hold the 11th overall pick. ESPN's Diana Rossini had the latest on what the Titans might be thinking.
Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
Don't miss our draft show starting at 6 o'clock with former Titans wide receivers Derek Mason and Chris Sanders alongside Jared Stillman. The Memphis Grizzlies survived elimination last night with a 116-99 win over the Lakers. It will be the Celtics trying to take down the Hawks tonight. And the Nashville Sounds are hosting Omaha once again tonight. Coverage begins at 6:20 on your home of the Sounds, 94.9 The Fan. This update is brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com.
Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rex Road. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Stillman and Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Cranks it, he scores! On both sides of the one big possession. Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff. You just play terrible and you keep playing.
And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to Superbook Sports, live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. We are live today, Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Again, the draft show in 2 hours. Now, the rumors are flowing. This started yesterday. Diana Russini, you heard it in Ian's update there. Diana Russini saying that she heard that the Titans are interested in a quarterback and they're going to do whatever it takes to get up there and get the quarterback. And the one thing that we have told you now for like a year and a half, Diana Russini is the voice of Vrabel. So when you hear something from Diana Russini, it is coming from Mike Vrabel. What's incredible is how everybody knows it, and they still go right to Diana Russini. It's not coming from Rand Carthon. Rand Carthon, her report was, yeah, he told me they could move up, move back, or stay put. Duh. But then I hear they've talked to Arizona, and they'll do whatever it takes to get a quarterback. I'm pretty sure that's coming from Vrabel. So then Aaron Wilson reported, and he's been in the NFL for a long time. Aaron Wilson reported this morning the Titans are trying to get C.J. Stroud. Chris Mortensen reported a couple of hours ago that the Titans are talking to Arizona about a quarterback. And Diana Russini, an hour ago on ESPN, updated her report with this.
Yeah, a lot of options for Houston, and many in this building in Nashville believe this draft starts with the Texans. So what are they going to do at 11? Well, this team is absolutely in play to try to trade out of that spot out of 11. So who have they spoken to? Well, they've had conversations over the last few days with the Arizona Cardinals. Sources I've spoken to have told me that no trade is in place. Nothing has been agreed upon. But the conversations have gotten very serious for the Tennessee Titans to move out of 11 to go up to 3. So what are they moving up for? I was told the approach here had nothing to do with specific position. This was about an individual player that the head coach and GM both agreed is the right choice and who they believe is the best player on the board for this team and the vision that they share. That those people being Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel, who I've told, or at least was told by people in this building today, that they have been lockstep in this process from this pick all the way through the different rounds. So all signs point to these things and this duo working. As we know, tonight is going to be a very exciting night for the new GM.
I mean, do they really need to do all that lockstep collaboration like that? I feel like that's for Amy. You know, like we promised we'd play well together in the sand because Diana tweeted the same thing. But again, so this is basically coming from Vrabel that they are circling one guy. And I don't know why they would tell her that. I do not understand what benefit it gives for the Titans to tell Diana Russini right now, hey, we're trying to get up to 3 so we can take one specific player. And I promise you that, these talks are serious. And then she goes on TV and says it. What's the point of telling everybody that? But it's obvious something's going to go down. And here's what I find fascinating, too, about Russini, which is this was on Friday's ESPN morning show, Get Up. And Diana was in Nashville yesterday. And Diana is live at Titans headquarters today, and I've been told that she's leaving first thing tomorrow morning. This was on Friday on ESPN about what Diana Russini's draft plans were.
Diana, I believe the Colts are the team you're covering for us next week, right, ahead of the draft. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you have any sense
that is correct,
what
Dan. I'll be out in
Indy
next week. Yeah.
Okay, so she was supposed to be in Indianapolis. Then on Wednesday, she's in Nashville, and she's here for the draft. Well, why would they change that? Unless the Titans said, hey, it's about to go down. Now, I don't know why the Titans would tell her it's about to go down. I don't see what benefit that is to the Titans. So either the Titans are operating this massive smokescreen, and it's a total diversion to everything, or Mike Vrabel cannot keep his mouth shut when it comes to what they're going to do, and they're going to trade up to number 3 and draft C.J. Stroud. Ian, you want to know which one I think it is?
Please do tell.
Number 2. That's what I think this is. What is the benefit of telling Diana what you're going to do? Now, if they take Stroud at number 3, it's going to be like, well, why'd you blab it to everybody so that everybody knew ahead of time? Because right now, what's going on is Arizona is trying to get better trade options than whatever it is that you have been willing to offer Arizona. Like, that's what they're doing. They're telling people, hey, Tennessee's offered us XYZ, but we'll take this from you. Are you interested? So either it's a massive smokescreen or the Titans are taking C.J. Stroud at number 3, and they're not being secretive of it at all. Make of that what you will. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Ian, who's hanging on the line for us? Brad is up next. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Go ahead, Brad.
Hey, I just want to say a lot of people are saying how fatigued they are with the draft and can't wait till it's over. And I don't know what's wrong with them, because this has probably been just the most exciting draft, and I'm just consumed by it. Super distracted at work, but I just want to say I appreciate all the coverage that you guys at the show have heaped on this draft. It's really been the most compelling one. And my question is for you, Jared, the Tennessee Titans fan, not the radio personality.
Sure.
Is this the most excited and anticipated Tennessee Titans draft that you've covered in your history?
No. And I say that because I thought 2017 was the big one. And, I mean, obviously 2019, like, we had the draft here. Thank you for your call, Brad. You know, we had the draft here in 19, and so that was an unbelievable experience. You know, I got to hang out. I got to, work on First Take with the guys for a couple of days, hyping up the crowds and stuff like that. Got to do a Q&A for Tostitos at the 19 draft. You know, I got to meet some of Floyd's buddies, which was always kind of fun. So I'd say the 19 draft had the most anticipation because it was here. 17 I thought was a big deal because I thought that was the draft that the Titans really could have come out like bandits on. That they had that 5th pick and the Jets were 6th and Geno Smith was their quarterback, and I thought the Titans could leverage that to get somebody to give you a boatload of picks for Deshaun Watson. They didn't do it. They took Corey Davis, and the second they did it, I was sick to my stomach. Sick to my stomach when they drafted Corey Davis. And if what they're going to do tonight, which I think is trade a boatload of picks to move up to 3 and take C.J. Stroud, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am sick. He's asked if I'm excited. I am sick to my stomach thinking about the Titans moving up to number 3 for C.J. Stroud because I don't think C.J. Stroud's that good. But that's just me. I've been wrong on this stuff before. But the more I watched him today, the more I didn't like, and that included the Georgia game with which he played, and everybody said, screw the S2 test. Watch him play against Georgia. And I did. And I watched him make 2 beautiful throws. This touchdown he threw into the end zone to Marvin Jr. was, I mean, he was on the run, and he moved around, and he set his feet, and he launched the ball down the field, and Marvin was open for a touchdown. It was beautiful. Then he threw a beautiful seam route right there in the middle of the field for a touchdown to the tight end. That was beautiful. Outside of that, I mean, I was not impressed. Now, he did have 2 impressive runs in the fourth quarter, which were good, but Anthony Richardson can run better than he can. When I watch him play, I see Alex Smith. And if you're going to trade up everything that it takes to move up, I'm not doing that for Alex Smith. I'm doing that for Aaron Rodgers. I'm doing that for Patrick Mahomes. It's like Gary Danielson said, Carolina made the move from 9-1 to draft Bryce Young. So what you're saying is not Bryce Young's going to be the best quarterback of this class. What you're saying is that in 4 years, Bryce Young will be in the same class as Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and all of those guys. And I'm not convinced Bryce Young's going to be there. I certainly do not think that was C.J. Stroud. With Anthony Richardson, I can tell you he's got the talent to develop into that guy. Doesn't mean he will, but he's got the talent. I am not a C.J. Stroud guy. And I think some of Vrabel's Boboism about how the people, Ohio State, it's like, oh, God. It's like when he brings in his Texan buddies to coach and they all freaking suck. Like, that's what we're looking at here. And I mean, I'm telling you, I don't like it. I do not like the idea of trading up for C.J. Stroud. Maybe it's because I love Anthony Richardson, but I tried to watch the tape today, and I tried to be as objective as possible, which is very hard to do. And I watched C.J. Stroud play against Michigan, in which he stunk, and against Georgia, in which I thought he was fine. And I'm like, how do you judge this guy? It's like everyone says, well, he takes care of the football. Well, if I was throwing to wide open receivers that were just walking around the middle of the field, I wouldn't throw interceptions either. But he just didn't do enough for me. And I know the guys I love, Rick Spielman and Bill Polian, and those guys really, really like C.J. Stroud, but I do not. I mean, again, I am sick to my stomach thinking the Titans are going to trade up for C.J. Stroud. And I freaking love Richardson. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025 if you want to weigh in. And the one thing I can think is happening with all these rumors and why they're where they are with the Titans, we'll get to that next here on Stillman & Company, 615-737-1025, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national
Hey. I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game?
I'm odd, so I get the odd picks.
They have a new coaching staff.
It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville, with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
Nashville is now home to an award-winning full-service spa, Mocara, located in the beautiful Omni Nashville Hotel. Features a wide range of signature services, including massage therapy, body and facial treatments, and yoga. This Mother's Day, treat your mother to a relaxing day at Mocara Spa. She deserves it. Purchasing your Mocara Mother's Day gift cards is easy. Go to omnihotels.com/Nashville or simply stop into the spa located on the 4th floor of the Omni Nashville Hotel, 250 5th Avenue South. For more information, simply call 615-761-3600.
The Game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Be a part of the conversation. Call or text the Game at 615-737-1025.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated. B&B Flooring's full-service, commercial, and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered. Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? And 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, so we're sitting there. It's our pick. The phone rings. Pick it up, you'll start talking. They'll say something along the lines of, are you willing to trade out of 5? Yes, I am. Okay, we will give you, just as we said before, we will give you, 24, 57, 76. I look up on the board and I say, you know what? I don't want 76. I want 72 because I know you have another third-round pick. And they say, okay, fine. And then what you'll do one of two things. If it's a great deal, you'll go ahead and take it and say, fine, well, that'll be a deal. If not, you'll say, all right, let me call you right back. Hang up, and you'll have to sit around for a minute because as just about the time you think you've got a deal done, the phone is going to ring again, and it's going to be another team, and they're going to say, hey, are you going to be willing to trade your 5th pick? Yes, I am. Well, I want it, and I'm willing to give you this, and that, and it might be better. So that's why people always wonder why people, especially in the first round, use up all of their time. That's generally the reason.
Sounds like what Arizona's doing right now. I've got to deal with the Titans, but everybody called me because I want a better deal. And the reason why the Titans in Arizona would not finalize a deal is because, as Diana Rossini reported, the Titans are making the move for a specific player that they view is the future of the organization, quarterback, C.J. Stroud. And so if Houston takes Stroud at 2, then the deal's off. So that is what we're waiting on here. But my guess is, I think it's 95% that the Titans are going to move up to number 3 and take C.J. Stroud. And a week ago, before the S2 test came out, I would have said yes. But now that we've got the S2 test, and I've heard his reaction to the S2 test, and I've heard, some of his interviews, and then I watched him play, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. 615-737-1025. And I do wonder if Indy is trying to scare the Colts. If Arizona is trying to scare the Colts. Hey, they're going to take Stroud, make the move, and then you can see if they would take it. Because the odds, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, have C.J. Stroud as the favorite at plus 105 to go at 3, and Will Levis is number 2. And why would Will Levis be 2? Because if Houston trades back into that spot, they're linked to Levis. If Indy trades down, they're linked to Levis. So I could see it. 615-737-1025, which is our phone number if you want to weigh in. Robert texts into the text line and says they very may well draft C.J. Stroud, but I find it hard to believe that they would draft a guy they didn't even bring into the Titans facility to interview or talk to. They may have done that when they did the Ohio State Pro Day, but I still find it hard to believe they did not invite the guy that they are so high on. I think it's Anthony Richardson. Robert, God bless you, and I hope you're right, but I don't think you are. I think what this is, and here's the other thing. Did Amy Adams Strunk go to the Ohio State Pro Day? I mean, I don't know for a fact she didn't, but I'm going to assume she didn't because I feel like if she had gone to the Ohio State Pro Day, it would have been a massive deal that the Titans owner went to the Ohio State Pro Day when I don't think she's ever been to a Pro Day. So the Titans are going to basically invest the entire franchise in a guy who the owner has never met. And I'm not saying they wouldn't do that. I mean, if I owned the team, we wouldn't be doing that. But I can't say they wouldn't do that. But what it sounds like to me is that the infatuation with C.J. Stroud is a Mike Vrabel, trust me, guys, I know. Just hear me out. I believe in the guy. Just trust me. I talked to his college coach. I talked to his this. I talked to his I did it all. Just trust me. I know. Gosh, how excited would I be if they traded for Anthony Richardson today? Oh, goodness. Texter says, I don't understand how you can tell who has a better ceiling or who doesn't. Well, one guy's 20 years old, right? So, like, let's take Aaron Rodgers. Aaron is not going to get better. Aaron's going to get worse. The question is, how much worse is Aaron going to get over the next couple of years? Well, when Aaron was 20, he was nowhere near as good as he is right now. Anthony Richardson is young. He has a projectable body. He has an unbelievable speed and athleticism. He's got a cannon for an arm. He competed in the SEC and did it well. He ran a more pro-style offense than what C.J. Stroud runs. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to believe in the future and the ceiling of Anthony Richardson. That's just me. Texter into the text line says, I think it's Will Levis the Titans are going to draft. I don't think so. Guys, it's C.J. Stroud. TD told you this at the Combine, that they liked C.J. Stroud. And then C.J. Stroud put on an unbelievable Combine workout. And after he put on that Combine workout, it was like, well, he may go number one. I mean, there's no point because the quarterbacks can go 1-2, and whoever goes number 2 or whoever goes number 1 who doesn't go number 1, Houston's going to take number 2. And then nobody thought about C.J. Stroud. Everyone assumed he was going to the Texans. And then all of a sudden the S2 score came out. It got leaked, and the Texans soured on him. And so now we're here, and now the Titans are like, oh, my God, we didn't think that we'd have a chance to be able to move up and take him. And I think that's what's happening right here.
Are we in a position where we're talking ourselves into C.J. Stroud in hopes to not, or, worrying about getting our hopes up too much or being disappointed when the pick comes in at number 3 and just like trying to, mentally prepare ourselves for the pick to be Stroud so we're not super disappointed?
When you say we, are you talking about me?
Yes.
How would you feel if they draft C.J. Stroud number 3?
I mean, I'm not sure I would love it. It seems like a lot to move up for a quarterback that has a lot of questions. And I know a lot of these quarterbacks at this point are going to have questions coming in, and all the quarterbacks are going to have questions, and no one's going to be a sure thing. And if they are, they'd be going number 1 overall. So it's probably asking too much to be that sure of a thing. But
I could be wrong about this because I've been wrong before. But my feeling on C.J. Stroud, when I went to watch today, to watch him play Georgia, to watch him play Michigan. And I was like, I want to watch these 2 games because I want to watch a good game and I want to watch a bad game. And he had his moments in both games, but specifically the first half of the Georgia game. I thought he was, he made a couple of throws that were just freaking beautiful. And I almost went into this telling myself to like him because it sounds like they're going to draft him, right? And I mean, I think sometimes people get mad at me for some of my takes. But, I mean, if I hate the rookie quarterback, it doesn't matter who they draft. They could draft freaking the guy from, I'm trying to think of who really stinks in college football, Malik of this year. They could draft Malik Cunningham out of Louisville, who is terrible. They could draft him. And you all would be like, oh, he's our future. We love him. He's going to be great. And, I mean, a lot of you are going to get really, really mad at me if it's like 6 months of banging on the rookie quarterback before he even plays a game. And I don't want to do that. But I tried to watch today in hopes that I would like him so that when they do pick him, I can be like, all right, I believe in this guy. And I didn't see it. I was not wowed. I saw Alex Smith. Those throws he was asked to make, those guys were wide freaking open. That's why he doesn't turn the football over. Well, he has so few interceptions. You know what's crazy? He's thrown 12 interceptions in 2 years. Mariota threw 14 and 3 in college. 14 interceptions in 3 years for Marcus. You guys saw Marcus in the pros. I mean, sometimes Marcus would throw the ball, and Marcus wasn't always like this, but sometimes he'd throw the ball, and you'd be watching the replay, and I'd be thinking to myself, at what point was this a good idea? Some of those were just freaking brutal. Now, I really think that Mariota's interceptions started to tick up as he got hit more and they changed the offenses on him and he got injured and those kind of things. But, man, 615-737-1025 is our phone number. The S2 test on C.J. Stroud. If you're somebody who's looking to dismiss it, I may have the guy for you. We'll get to that coming up next. 615-737-1025, Stillman and Company, live from Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexroad.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with your family with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
Family Leisure has 40 spas on display from 3 of the biggest brand names: Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select. Prices starting as low as $29.99.
What about above ground pools?
Family Leisure has hundreds of pools in stock and on sale. Guaranteed installation before Memorial Day, starting as low as $29.99. Install.
Wow, that's great.
If you're looking at a spa, I want some new patio furniture. Family Leisure has patio furniture from all the big brand names like Hanneman, Woodard, Jensen, and Apricity. There's more than 100 sets on display to choose from with free delivery.
That sounds good to me too. And maybe a new Sabre infrared grill to go with it.
We really should look at the wood play gym for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. It's Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Wait, how do you feel about the S2 cognition test as far as quarterback position is concerned?
So this is my first experience with the S2, so I'm still learning it, myself. So there's still a space for me to grow. I know we use it, and we're, working through it. We met with them last week, so I can get a better understanding of how to use it, as a part of our analytical component, to evaluate a player. But myself, I'm still learning. It's my first experience with it, so I've only really been diving into it over the last month or so.
I have noticed a tell with Rand Carthon, which is that when he doesn't want to talk about something, he just says, I don't know, I don't know anything about that. Which is kind of the Derek Jeter of that's the first time hearing about it. Someone would come up to Derek Jeter in the clubhouse and they would say, what do you make of, apparently, Joe said that you're in a big batting slump and he's like, that's the first time hearing of that. Just as like, I didn't know until you told me. That's Rand Carthon's I don't know. Because when I asked him about Tannehill when he took the job, I got to evaluate, I don't know. When he was asked about Bud Dupree at the Combine, I don't know Bud, so I got to get to know Bud before we make a decision. And then a day later, he cut him. And then this is, I don't really know about it. Sure. Don't really know about it. So should we be worried about C.J. Stroud's reported S2 cognition test? Bill Polian on NFL radio said no, because we may not even know what it means.
If some of it leaks out, if just infinitesimal pieces of it leak out, which they shouldn't, by the way, but if they do, far too much is made of them because the overwhelming majority of people who cover the sport don't understand the reasons for the tests, how the tests are interpreted. There are any number of people in NFL buildings who don't understand how the tests are interpreted. I mean, that's something that's usually the purview of the whoever the team psychologist is. He or she is doing the interpreting for the football people, and the GM and the senior football people may understand it or have been briefed on it, but the coaches don't understand how those tests work, as an example, or how you interpret them.
I think that's nice, but in all seriousness, this is the way I treat it. And I think of it, too, kind of like in medicine, right? If you tell me that, hey, this is what you take, and when you take this will get you better, I can't tell you the chemical reactions behind how that works. But I know that if everybody who takes this medicine doesn't get sick, then I know it works. If everybody who scores poorly on this S2 test, if every single person that scores poorly on it's not a franchise quarterback, then I know the answer here. Now, they at S2 alluded to the fact that report was not true. They didn't say it specifically with Stroud, but they alluded to that being out of context or not true. The Titans do have the numbers, so the Titans would know. But I'd say I'm a little worried about it. And how about this, by the way? This was yesterday on NFL Radio. C.J. Stroud, they did a charity event for, the Kansas City community. And so he was on the show. And they asked him what advice his coach gave him. And you tell me if C.J. Stroud is not incredibly defensive about showing his intelligence or football IQ.
Ryan Day comes from the NFL. Before he became the head coach, been assistant for Urban Meyer, and now the head coach at Ohio State. What was his biggest piece of advice for you when you started this process of the draft?
To be myself. He said he's never really dealt with a quarterback like me before. Well, I wouldn't say deal. He's never worked with a quarterback like me before where he actually, thinks I should coach one day because I think my IQ and my intelligence on the field and I'm able to kind of mock up plays and draw up plays and think of things in my head on the fly, even on the sideline. And that's something that he kind of picked up. And, Coach Day is a genius in this football game as well. So he was just really telling me to be myself. That's all I need. That's enough.
How did we get from he told me to be myself to he thinks I'm so smart that I should coach and I can just draw up plays however? Ian, how did we get there?
I do think there is, some of the other quotes and audio that we've heard from C.J. Stroud, it does sound like he's getting a little defensive.
In fairness, I would get defensive about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because this cognition test, here's the problem. The cognition test is not about whether or not you're smart. People think that this is like the Wonderlic test. It is not like the Wonderlic test. What this does is it determines how fast you can process information, right? I would tell you, I may not do well on this test. I'm not a good video game player, for instance. I also don't play a lot of video games, but I'm not a good video game player. But you get these guys that have the headsets on and, Alpha Team, go. And they think they're running some CIA op on the GameCube, and it's like, Well, damn, these guys can shoot you out of nowhere and all kinds of stuff because they've got those kind of skills. It's so, I mean, again, it doesn't make you dumb, but the general consensus is that, you know, people think that this is like the Wonderlic test and he scored poorly on it, so he must be dumb. And that's not the case. But if everybody thought that I was dumb, or I interpreted that as people think I'm dumb, and there's no way for me to disprove it, I think I would get a little defensive about it too. But I do think it's funny. What advice did he give you? I'm so smart. How did we get there? LD from McMinnville texts in. If the Titans trade up to 3 and select Stroud, we might see Jared cry. Cry is probably a big take, but I will be bummed out. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Stroud fan. And, you know, I bitched about how the Houston Texans could not take him, and maybe I was wrong for that because, you know, they probably are seeing some of the things that I'm seeing. In Indianapolis, that one scout told, I want to say it was Tom Pelissero, but at this point, I've read so much stuff, it could have been one of 55 people. But one of these scouts said that Indianapolis hopes that somebody jumps them and takes Stroud so that they don't have to choose between Stroud and Levis because deep down inside they like Levis more. And let me say this. I like Levis more than C.J. Stroud. When I watched him play, the throws are so easy. Like the throws that they have to make in the SEC are so much harder, but the throws in that Ohio State offense, they're just so wide open. It's just a little crosser and just drop it off. It's so easy. It's so open. You're not getting that at Kentucky. That I can tell you. Texter says, I think Vrabel has enough respect for Amy Adams-Strunk that they would bring Stroud in for a visit if they were seriously going to draft Stroud. He saw what happened when Robinson left Amy out of the know. Robinson did not leave Amy out of the know. Amy knew they were trading A.J. Brown. Where do we come up with this stuff, people? Texter says, name me an Ohio State quarterback that's worked out lately. That doesn't matter. I mean, you do not draft schools. It's like this Wembanyama in the NBA draft. I think he's like 7'5", and he passes the ball like Magic Johnson. Well, I don't know who plays on Wembanyama's French team, but I'm going to guess that nobody has gone from Wembanyama's French team to the Hall of Fame. And I would still take him number one. And I am a big fan, by the way, of Wembanyama. And I hope the Orlando Magic, if they have a chance to get him, I hope they do get him. Allie in Bellevue says, Jared wants it on the record that he doesn't like the Titans' potential hypothetical trade for a quarterback. That's not true. That's not true. I want to trade for Anthony Richardson. I mean, I watched the Georgia game today, and I thought because Stroud played him so much closer and put up so many points that I'd walk away from that and say, oh, yeah, him over Anthony for sure. Nope. I think Anthony's talent is just, I don't know. You know, yesterday Bill Polian said talent oozes out of him. I want to take the chance there. I am an Anthony guy. Texter said, it's not exactly the same, but this sort of reminds me when the Chargers floated out rumors that they may take Tua instead of Herbert to try to coax Miami or someone else to make a move up. That didn't happen, Chad. Miami had a pick ahead of the Chargers. The Chargers decided they were going to pick whoever Miami didn't pick. So if Miami had picked Justin Herbert, then they would have taken Tua. So I don't know what rumors you're talking about, but I'm here to tell you that, in fact, did not happen. Texter says, Jared, I hope you're wrong. If the Titans trade up and draft C.J. Stroud, I'm done with the team. It's a hot take. Until he's gone. But I've been a fan since the Oilers days. He will be a bust. It'll be bad enough if they sat there at 11 and he fell and they picked him. But to trade up for this guy, no way. Can I just say this? I'd like this on the record, Ian, if we could have this there.
Okay.
I am not predicting that C.J. Stroud will be a bust. I am not telling you that C.J. Stroud stinks. None of that. I do not think C.J. Stroud will be an elite quarterback. That is what I know. I know what I think right now. But that does not mean that he's got no chance to be a star quarterback. There's no chance that I'm wrong. I don't think any of that. Now, I mean, I know it hasn't sounded that way because I feel like I've been so anti this idea, and I am anti because I don't think it's going to work out, but it doesn't mean that it can't. So when people are like, I'm done with the team, he's a bust. Hold on, wait, hold on. You know, like, we don't know that. And you all trust Vrabel so much, and I guess I do to a certain extent too. So if that's the case, like, I mean, Texter says, something is obviously happening if Diana Rossini changed her plans. Somebody said to me, they were like, can Diana be getting all of her information from Arizona? And I'm like, well, if on Friday she said she was going to Indianapolis and now she's here, I'm guessing it's not all coming from Arizona. But I am trying to figure out, how does it behoove the Titans to tell Diana everything? I mean, Ian, do we have that latest Diana cut? It's a little fuzzy, but that's okay. You'll get the gist of it. This is what Diana Rossini said an hour ago about the Titans draft plans live from the Titans facility.
Yeah, a lot of options for Houston, and many in this building in Nashville believe this draft starts with the Texans. So what are they going to do at 11? Well, this team is absolutely in play to try to trade out of that spot out of 11. So who have they spoken to? Well, they've had conversations over the last few days with the Arizona Cardinals. Sources I've spoken to have told me that no trade is in place. Nothing has been agreed upon. But the conversations have gotten very serious for the Tennessee Titans to move out of 11 to go up to 3. So what are they moving up for? I was told the approach here had nothing to do with specific position. This was about an individual player that the head coach and GM both agreed is the right choice and who they believe is the best player on the board for this team and the vision that they share. That those people being Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel, who I've told, or at least was told by people in this building today, that they have been lockstep in this process from this pick all the way through the different rounds. So all signs point to these things and this duo working. As we know, tonight is going to be a very exciting night for the new GM.
Yeah, that came from Arizona. 615-737-1025. We'll get to your phone. Stillman and Company live from Twin Peaks in Cool Springs, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
185! Every team needs a quarterback. 185! That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
Imagine her delight when she unwraps a luxurious spa day from A Moment's Peace, the newly remodeled day spa and salon in Cool Springs. Whether you spend a little or go lavish, you can take comfort that your gift will be treasured, your love on display and a smile on her face. What a thoughtful romantic you are. Give affordable luxury from A Moment's Peace for mums, dads, and grads in Cool Springs across I-65 from Galleria Mall at the intersection of Carruthers Parkway and Bakersbridge Avenue. Call 224-0770 or click online anytime at AMomentsPeace.com.
This is R.A. Dickey, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Smoky Mountain Tops. When my wife Ann and I needed new countertops for our kitchen, we called Smoky Mountain Tops. We wanted to make sure that we worked with a company dedicated to quality, craftsmanship, and customer service. And that's what we got with Smoky Mountain Tops. Go with the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops for any of your surfacing countertop needs. Located in Knoxville and Nashville. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. May 25th, 26th, and 27th at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Performing with the Nashville Symphony. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss the Beach Boys live with the Nashville Symphony.
Harmon Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Harmon Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Hi, this is Jamie from Souls for Souls. I hope you can join us on June 7th at Hermitage Golf Course for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament. We've partnered with 102.5 The Game to provide shoes to students experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
A show that lives and breathes sports.
Focus in, focus in, focus in.
From the SEC.
Credit to the Alabamas, the Georgias, and the Ohio States of the world.
To the Preds.
They've been in a lot of really tight games, but they're not winning enough of them.
To the Titans.
He's talking about what this franchise has built over the years.
Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace.
What is this? Check it out.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I think for the Titans, I think Rand Carthon going through his first draft as the new GM there, it's different. When you think about the quarterback spot, you're right. Tannehill, can he stay healthy? Do you have to push panic and say, I've got to go get a quarterback? I don't think you do. I just think there's stability. Coach Variable has done a really good job.
Great
coaching.
Class of quarterbacks next year as well.
That's the thing. See, and I agree with you. And I think that class next year is actually even better than this class.
I agree with you.
And so do you push it or do you go with Kenny Hill and you see a little bit more of Malik Willis? Now, Malik obviously didn't take the strides I think they were hoping they would see, probably in the practice field and on the field. But again, an offseason where you can focus on football only is a good thing. But I think they just stay put. Like, I would not go – if I'm Rand Carthon and say, I got to go get a quarterback in this draft class, I would sit back, and if one falls to me, I'm willing to consider it if I like him. But I'll go with Tannehill for a season, and I'll take another player.
There you go. That was Mark Dominic talking about I wouldn't trade up there. But all signs are pointing, whether it's Chris Mortensen, whether it's Diana Rossini, whether it is Aaron Wilson, all signs are pointing to the Titans trading up and drafting C.J. Stroud with the 3rd overall pick. I promised phones. Cedric has been waiting patiently and is up next on the program. Thank you for calling. What's up, Cedric?
What's up, dog? Listen, man, it's like Pavlov's dog. If you say Marcus, I got to call in. You said Marcus and C.J. Stroud in the same sentence. I'm out automatically. Give me big and rich. Now, listen, I want to say this to all the masseuses in Middle Tennessee. The last time that Tim Kelly coached an elite quarterback, we all know what happened. Stay the hell away from my future quarterback. Do not come anywhere near the new Big and Rich, man. It is time tonight. I agree with you, Stillman. I almost want to jump off a bridge because I do. But give me Big and Rich tonight. Tighten up, baby. And listen, Jerry, one more thing, man. You are at the Combine. What kind of talent are you looking at? Are you looking at Peyton Manning-type talent in the Combine, or are you looking at Ryan Leaf-type talent in the Combine? I'm out, baby. Tighten up. Let's go.
Can I just say, I wish I shared his optimism that they were going to be taking Anthony Richardson tonight. Like, I mean, if you told me that they were going to be that they were doing all of this, if Diana Rossini said that it's a specific player that the coach and the GM agree on, and the specific player were Anthony Richardson, I would be so happy.
It's like Vrabel and his quarterback from Ohio State versus Rand and his quarterback from Florida, who will win the ultimate quarterback battle?
The answer's Vrabel. You know, Joe said something to me earlier this week about how he thinks Vrabel's in charge. I was like, I don't think so. If they take this guy, and Rand Carthon didn't even bring him in for a visit.
I mean, if they take C.J. Stroud, it feels like a huge Vrabel pick, does it not?
Oh, it's such a – well, you said it to me during the break. What did you say last break?
Oh, I said if there's one person I could see not caring about the result of an S2 test, Mike Vrabel.
It's Vrabel. It's, you know, hey, coach.
It's just one part of the analytical part of the test, and what does this mean for our analytical formula? And Vrabel's like, who cares about analytics?
We paid $800,000 for this one test. What do you think of it, Mike? Now, remember this conspiracy theory that we had on the program last week? That Vrabel convinced Stroud to tank the S2 test. If that is what happened, then I could understand Vrabel not caring about this one.
I wonder how you tank the S2 test. Like,
don't you think that'd be kind of easy?
Maybe if you knew what it was like, if you knew how to skew the results.
Well, think about it like a video game, right? So
just run off the cliff every time on purpose.
You know, if I'm playing Mario Kart, for instance, and I'm trying to get into first place, that might be difficult. If I want to get into last place, that's not going to be very hard. So maybe this is. By the way, a texter said that they know that I don't play a lot of video games because I said GameCube.
That's been a hot minute for the GameCube, yep.
I mean, when I said GameCube, I was like, GameCube? What is this, 2002? I was like, what is the matter with GameCube? Oh, goodness gracious.
Might as well put in Dreamcast, the Sega Dreamcast in there with it.
Throwback Thursday it is. Texter says, it's crazy that before the S2 score situation, everyone was so sure Stroud was great and possibly the number one pick, but now there's much more backlash on the guy. Agreed. Led by me. I'll tell you. So remember how the texter texted and said, hey, watch the Manning show with Bryce Young or with Will Levis.
And you
you'll
did your
draft
homework.
him.
Yep.
And I watched it with Levis, Richardson, and Hooker. I didn't watch it with Bryce Young. I mean, I haven't watched a single Bryce Young anything. I've watched zero tape on Bryce Young. And I watched zero tape on C.J. Stroud. And I said that I would take Stroud over Young because Stroud's bigger and I'm worried about Young's size. Then I watched the tape today on C.J. Stroud, and I was like, I still really don't like Bryce Young's size. Like, I really, really don't like Bryce Young's size. I mean, that's too small for me. Where do these people come up with this stuff? Anthony Richardson is worse than Malik. According to nobody except for you, texter. Literally nobody thinks that. Although Daniel Jeremiah had a mock draft out, you want to talk about watching Jared cry today. Daniel Jeremiah put out his final mock draft yesterday at NFL Network, and he had the Titans staying at 11 and drafting Zay Flowers, the little wide receiver out of Boston College. And then he had Anthony Richardson falling all the way to Seattle at 20. And I thought, 20? That they're going to take Zay Flowers ahead of an Anthony Richardson? And that was the most mad I was. Then I woke up this morning and found out that they may trade everything in order to get C.J. Stroud. Texture says, give me Stetson Bennett over C.J. Stroud. Guys, Stetson Bennett sucks. Like, let me just say this for everybody out there, because we get texts all the time about Stetson Bennett. So because I've been watching, Will Levis versus Georgia, and Anthony Richardson versus Georgia, and Hendon Hooker versus Georgia, and C.J. Stroud versus Georgia, I've seen enough Will Levis. Stetson Bennett, he's small, he's got no accuracy, and he throws the stupidest interceptions. Stetson Bennett freaking stinks. It drives me crazy when people are like, why don't they Titans just take Stetson Bennett?
We got a little something here, maybe.
Okay, give it to me.
Pro Football Talk. Mike Florio, hearing the Cardinals are trying to send the number 3 overall pick.
Oh, no.
And Hopkins to the Titans for 11 plus more.
No, I do not want him. No. DeAndre Hopkins? Oh, no. The Cardinals are trying to send, according to Pro Football Talk hearing, the Cardinals are trying to send number 3 overall in DeAndre Hopkins to the Titans, 11 plus more. Yeah, they're trying to send DeAndre Hopkins, and the Titans are like, no. We've already done the 31-year-old old pawpaw receiver who gets hurt all the time. We've already done that. We're not interested in doing that again. Oh, my God.
Just get ready.
Oh, my God. You know, it's bad enough when these things happen, but it's way worse agonizing over it. Like, I didn't think there was any chance the Titans would take Corey Davis.
Another Vrabel Houston guy, Hopkins, bring him back.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Tim Kelly, little reunion.
God. Oh, no. DeAndre Hopkins. What a freaking joke. DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, nobody wants to take DeAndre Hopkins, so the only thing that they have, they're trying to package that. They're trying to send Hopkins because it's like, does anybody want him? No. But we do want the 3rd pick. Well, you have to take Hopkins. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to weigh in. 615-737-1025. Add that, recapping the rumors. How we got to the state we are in today as we are 2 hours away from the draft. We'll do that next. Live from Twin Peaks out here in Cool Springs. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays. All the big stories.
If you're not ready to play in this league, you will lose. I don't care who you're playing.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Because I love the sport.
We played the way we needed to.
Why would he make that move?
360, he slams it home.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. The official brand perception report is in, and the Pella Windows and Doors brand is #1 for the most trusted, most often recommended by others, and highest quality. Nashville area homeowners are very lucky because Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is one of the top locations in the country. They provide award-winning excellence when it comes to craftsmanship and installation. If you need new doors or windows, I suggest you choose the experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Willie Nelson and family are on the road again, live in concert.
On the road again.
With Bobby Weir and Wolf Bros, featuring the Wolf Pack.
Esau holds a blessing. Brother Esau hurt.
Particle Kid, and more.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
The 2023 Outlaw Music Festival, presented by Wheatley Vodka, September 10th. First Bank Amphitheater in Franklin. Tickets on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at LiveNation.com. Outlaw Music Festival, part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Now, your Game Center update.
The NFL Draft officially kicks off tonight. The Tennessee Titans hold the 11th overall pick. ESPN's Diana Rossini had the latest on what the Titans might be thinking.
Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out. They're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
Don't miss our draft show starting at 6 o'clock with former Titans wide receivers Derek Mason and Chris Sanders alongside Jared Stillman. The Memphis Grizzlies survived elimination last night with a 116-99 win over the Lakers. It will be the Celtics trying to take down the Hawks tonight. And the Nashville Sounds are hosting Omaha once again tonight. Coverage begins at 6:20 on your home of the Sounds, 94.9 The Fan. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
1, 2, 3, 9. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
He had a competent coaching staff. You just play terrible and you keep playing.
And we have strong opinions.
What a whiny freaking crybaby response.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 1025, 1063 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to Superbook Sports. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. We are live at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. The draft show is 1 hour away. Now, we have got a lot of rumors as far as the Titans are concerned falling right in front of us. We start with Diana Rossini about an hour ago on ESPN. Yes, it's a little fuzzy. That's okay, but this is what she said from Titans headquarters about the Titans and the third pick of Arizona.
Yeah, a lot of options for Houston, and many in this building in Nashville believe this draft starts with the Texans. So what are they going to do at 11? Well, this team is absolutely in play to try to trade out of that spot out of 11. So who have they spoken to? Well, they've had conversations over the last few days with the Arizona Cardinals. Sources I've spoken to have told me that no trade is in place. Nothing has been agreed upon. But the conversations have gotten very serious for the Tennessee Titans to move out of 11 to go up to 3. So what are they moving up for? I was told the approach here had nothing to do with specific position. This was about an individual player that the head coach and GM both agreed is the right choice and who they believe is the best player on the board for this team and the vision that they share. That those people being Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel, who I've told, or at least was told by people in this building today, that they have been lockstep in this process from this pick all the way through the different rounds. So all signs point to these things and this duo working. As we know, tonight is going to be a very exciting night for the new GM.
Okay, so she tells you that they're talking to Arizona, that they love a player, and that the head coach and the GM both agree on it, and that they're in lockstep, and then she recites the talking points that make the owner happy about how they're working together. Pro Football Talk reports, hearing the Cardinals are trying to send number 3 overall and DeAndre Hopkins to the Titans for number 11 plus more. Now, apparently Ian Rappaport has just put out there that the Titans are not talking about DeAndre Hopkins. Ian Rappaport says, while the Titans have had conversations about a potential trade up to number 3, among other spots, interesting, among other spots, they have not had conversations centered around wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, source said. Now, I was just thinking about this, and I didn't look up the salaries to see if they match or whatever, because the cap's fake, and you can make it work however you want. But I was wondering, Kyler Murray's out for next year, right?
I mean, it feels like most of the year.
Okay, have they gotten a quarterback to replace Kyler Murray?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, would you really run out Colt McCoy next year? You can't draft a quarterback if you're Arizona because Kyler's your long-term quarterback, but who's going to play quarterback this year? And then I thought, well, what if the Titans eat some of the money on Tannehill and then swap it with Hopkins? And then it's a big contract for a big contract, and they get a quarterback, and then you get the pick, and then they get the pick, and then you have to give them more picks. But I was wondering if that could be a part of it, but then Ian Rappaport said that apparently DeAndre Hopkins is not a part of this. And let me say this for everybody out there. We did this for an entire summer. Remember, 2 years ago, we did this. There was an old, injured, disgruntled pawpaw wide receiver who was at one point really, 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 really good, and you guys got a freaking Julio Jones in your pants over the idea of him and A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, and I said no, 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 no. And there was nobody else in the league that was willing to take on the money and give up a good pick in order to get Julio Jones. And then you did it, and Julio came in here and was a massive bust. So much so that you don't have a fourth-round pick in this year's draft because you're still paying off the debt on the Julio Jones contract. John Robinson doesn't have a job because of the Julio Jones contract. So you guys want to do that again? And, I get it, because the rest of these guys outside of Burks are a bunch of Scarbinis, and I don't even know if Burks, is going to stay healthy or anything like that. But but DeAndre Hopkins is an old pop. In football terms, he shouldn't even be allowed to drive a car anymore. And you guys want him. I mean, it's crazy to me. I don't understand it. And not only that, but, I mean, PED suspension and everything else. I mean, look, I don't know. But I wouldn't. Hey, what I'd want if I'm the Titans, I'd want those receivers that C.J. Stroud was throwing to at Ohio State. Give me Marvin Harrison Jr., and then I'll feel better about it. 615-737-1025. Oh, yeah. And the other thing. Now, remember, Diana Rossini, and I like Diana fine. I have no beef with her. But Diana Rossini is in the satchel of the Titans, specifically Mike Vrabel. And I feel like we've established that on the show with very little pushback because, I mean, it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. Now, on Friday, she was on Get Up, and she was asked about where she would be for the draft. Now, she's here in Nashville at the Titans facility, but here's what she said on Friday where she would be.
Diana, I believe the Colts are the team you're covering for us next week, right, ahead of the draft.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
You have any sense
that is correct, Dan. I'll be out in Indy
next
week. Yeah.
Okay. I'll be out in Indy next week. And now she's here. Now, look, you guys know how ESPN is. Diana Rossini is not going to her bosses saying, hey, guys, I think that it'd be better for me to go to Tennessee where they have the 11th overall pick in the draft and might take Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. And her bosses said, what? So you know that's not how that went down. What I'm guessing is Vrabel probably told her, hey, there may be some fireworks here on Thursday night. And all of a sudden, ESPN was like, yes, Diana, you go there in case there are massive fireworks that go down that night. So I think we are looking at some fireworks. Now, I wouldn't rule out what Pro Football Talk said about Hopkins because I hate it. And so if I hate it, chances are they'll probably do it. So that's where we are now. Boy, this is fun. Rumors galore. Just all over the place here. I still don't understand why, what she must have told, Diana that is, what she must have told her bosses for them to pull the plug on her going to Indianapolis and for her to come here. And what Vrabel must have told her in order for her to take that to her bosses in order for her to come here and cover the Titans instead of covering Indianapolis. And on top of that, not only do I wonder what was said between those, but then I also want to know why Vrabel's telling everybody. Because this is obviously not a secret that the Titans are trying to get the third pick. And it's not a secret that it's for C.J. Stroud. TD said at the Combine he knew that they wanted C.J. Stroud. So make of that what you will. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. 615-737-1025. Texter said, look for Green Bay to enter the picture.
In what?
I don't know. What, are they going to get C.J. Stroud?
Quarterback?
I don't think so. Austin from Clarksville says it's been debunked by Ian Rappaport. Guys, nothing gets debunked this time of the year. Everything is true until it does or doesn't happen. For instance, last year, a week before the draft, I asked John Robinson, is there any chance you could trade A.J. Brown? He said he didn't foresee that happening. A week later, they traded A.J. Brown. So the idea, well, Ian Rappaport said they're not talking Hopkins. That does not mean anything to me. That's just another rumor. Just like the fact that they are talking about Hopkins is a rumor. The fact that they're not talking about Hopkins is also a rumor. It's all the same to me. Did that make sense? I hope it did. 615, thank you. 615-737-1025 if you want to weigh in. 615-737-1025. Here's the one piece of information that's missing. The one thing that I can't get over about the Titans making this move, and the one reason why I've said I think it's 95% happening, the 5%. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, we are live out here at Twin Peaks in Cool Springs. Again, join us tonight for the draft show. Chris Sanders is already here. D. Mace will be here as well. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When it comes to Nashville sports,
Locking up Jeffrey Simmons, clearly that was a priority for them.
he knows his stuff
A little bit good, a little bit bad.
and knows how to push the right buttons.
He's coming off an ACL tear, and he's 25 years old, so you cannot ignore that.
Join Outkick's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company. Withrow
What I hate more than anything is people that are phony and not true to themselves.
is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Happy Nashville Sounds Throwback Thursday. Catch the action at First Horizon Park tonight at 6:35 as the Nashville Sounds take on the Kansas City Royals affiliate. Enjoy $2 and $4 drink specials all night while the Sounds wear their classic 1978 throwback uniforms. For tickets, visit NashvilleSounds.com.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit Thai and Sushi in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Featuring all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails, plus an amazing bar and environment. You can eat a bit and bite a bit with this week's half-off deal. Check out biteabitnashville.com. That's Bite a Bit in East Nashville. Half off at thegamenashville.com/deals.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The Nashville Sheriff is hiring correctional officers. Earn $52,500 after paid training and probation. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or GED. Come, join our family. That's $52,500 with great benefits. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Earn $52,500. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially since you're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening that self-awareness, because sometimes you don't know what you really want until you talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit BetterHelp.com/score to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/score.
April was a busy hiring month for Cromwell Media, the owner of this radio station. We're saluting 3 teammates for 8 years of service. Cliff McCardle, our promotions director, and Jared Stillman and Ian Safar on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Janet Gers in our business office passes the 6-year mark. And Junnie Riddle in promotions and Lance Mackey in sales are celebrating 2 years with us. These folks are making a difference every day. Come join our amazing team. Send us your resume at together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We are good to go. Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. You're listening to Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Do you feel like you got to know, you talked about how important the personality was of the quarterback, that you've got to know C.J. Stroud well enough to have that evaluation on him?
Yeah, Mike and Tim spent time with him, in Columbus, at the Pro Day, and they feel good about, him as a person. And then the other guys, I think we have a really cool process when we come in and for our 30 visits, which I won't say publicly because I don't want anybody else to steal our process, but I feel like we truly get to know, some of these kids. You have some of the kids that come in with, what you have gotten just through your intel. And I feel like some guys you see a totally different person. Now, again, it's a job interview. Everybody's best face is on. But I feel like when we've sat down with these kids, you get the genuine person of who they really are. And so, that I feel is what makes our process really cool when we bring guys in for the top 30.
Okay, there you go. That was Ran Carthon, and I asked the question, did you feel like you got to know C.J. Stroud? And he did not say yes. This is the one part that I don't understand. Again, everybody's putting it out there that the Titans are talking to Arizona about number 3. My guess is Arizona is hoping that somebody offers them a better package than the Titans are willing to offer, and the Titans are not going to make the trade until Houston doesn't take C.J. Stroud at number 2, I believe. So could there be one massive smokescreen here? Maybe. But how could Ran Carthon go all in? First draft, first time. I mean, he only was the only guy at the podium the other day, which I thought was kind of crazy. That with the whole, we're all in this together, only he met with the media and not him and Vrabel. Where last year Vrabel and John Robinson met with the media, but again, I digress here. But for him in this, the first draft, to push all the chips in the middle when he didn't even meet with the kid. He didn't even sit down with him. Again, listen to my question about C.J. Stroud, because they brought in Hooker, they brought in Levis, they brought in Richardson, and listen to my question about, did you get to know C.J. Stroud? Do you feel like you got to know, you talked about how important the personality was of the quarterback, that you've got to know C.J. Stroud well enough to have that evaluation on him? Yeah, Mike and Tim spent time with him, in Columbus, at the Pro Day, and they feel good about, him as a person. And then the other guys, I think we have a really cool. No, I didn't know. I didn't meet with him. I don't know him. What? And you're going to trade what it would take to go from 11 to 3 in order to draft that guy, and you don't know him? And you didn't meet with him? Do we do that? Do we do that at any job? I don't think we do that in my job. Hey, Jared, we have we're going to hire this person. It's going to be Jared and Johnny. Who the hell's Johnny? Oh, no, you'll love him. We don't do that. So why would you do that? This is a $1 billion decision we're talking about here. The Titans, Floyd used to always talk about this as general manager of a team, that when you're making these kind of decisions, you are the leader of a $1 billion corporation. And so the most important single decision that's going to be made probably over the next 2 or 3 years, if they end up doing this for C.J. Stroud, he's never even sat down with the kid. That does not make any sense. So that's the 5% of me that thinks that they're not going to trade to 3 for Stroud. That's the 5%. 95 thinks they're going to. And if that happens, again, I won't be there tonight because I'll be hosting the draft show, but local media, do not let them figure out exactly how much Ran Carthon knows about this kid. And I'm going to tell you why I think we're hearing all the talk about they were in this decision together. They were lockstep. What was the Diana tweet earlier today? And again, we know where Diana gets most of her information, right? We've talked about this. It comes from Vrabel. Diana tweeted out, let's see. New Titans GM Rand Carthon has been leading the staff behind the scenes for tonight's pick at 11. Speaking to people around the facility, Carthon and Vrabel have been lockstep through this process. Vrabel's like telling Diana, you have to say it's collaborative. Because what's going to happen is we're going to draft C.J. Stroud, and if this doesn't work out, Rand Carthon and everybody is going to blame me. And I'm not going to say we should let Rand off the hook, because if Rand does go with Vrabel's guy, and it's a guy that he didn't sit down with, then, dude, you signed that bill. You signed that bill too, Congressman. But it will absolutely be Vrabel's fault. Like, if they make this massive move and it doesn't work out, let's say he's Zach Wilson. And again, this is worst case scenario. And I don't anticipate he'll be Zach Wilson. But let's just say, for argument's sake, he's Zach Wilson. 75% of the blame to Vrabel, 25% to Rand, but you still get blamed for it. I cannot imagine the Titans would not bring somebody in here. And then the other part of that cut, Ian, I don't know if you still have it at that spot, but the other part of that cut, Rand Carthon talks about how beneficial it is with the way that they do things to get to know these kids, unlike other teams, which is the thing that they did not do for C.J. Stroud.
And they feel good about, him as a person. And then the other guys, I think we have a really cool process when we come in and for our 30 visits, which I won't say publicly because I don't want anybody else to steal our process, but I feel like we truly get to know, some of these kids. You have some of the kids that come in with, what you have gotten just through your intel, and I feel like some guys you see a totally different person. Now, again, it's a job interview, everybody's best face is on, but I feel like when we've sat down with these kids, you get the genuine person of who they really are, and so that I feel is what makes our process really cool when we bring guys in for the top 30.
Our process is so good, we don't want to tell anybody about it because we don't want to reveal our secrets away. We don't want anybody to know how we do it, even though I've only been doing this for 1 year and I've never seen how this in process looks. But our process is so good that we get to understand the kid. We get to learn about him. We understand how genuine they are. Did you do that for Stroud? No. And then they're going to trade all the way up for him? Hey, man, not my job. 615-737-1025. Texter says, how much would you cry if the Texans trade back with the Eagles to trade for Anthony Richardson after the Titans trade the bank for C.J. Stroud? Let me say this. My big fear is not Anthony Richardson with the Texans. My big fear is Anthony Richardson with the Colts. And I'll just put it to you like this. Even you Anthony Richardson haters out there, you guys hear all the same things about how much talent he has, about how he has Patrick Mahomes level talent, Josh Allen level talent, which C.J. Stroud does not. These guys, he's got this, TD would call it plutonium-like talent. How would you feel if Indianapolis drafts Richardson and he turns into that? That's the question. Chris says, let's start this rumor to go with your conspiracy theory. It was the Titans GM who started the S218 rumor because the Titans are one of the 15 teams with access to the scores, and they wanted him to fall enough to get him. That comes from Chris. Chris, we've already talked about that on this program. We believe there's a really good chance that was the Titans. And again, I'm not naming names. I'm not saying anybody did do this, but what I'm saying is that they didn't not do it, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying they did it, but I'm also not saying that they didn't not do it. And that's because the guy who linked the story of the 18 S2 score was Bob McGinn, longtime football writer, but out of Green Bay. And I don't know if the Packers have access to the S2 scores, but I can't imagine that they'd have a dog in the fight as far as C.J. Stroud is concerned. But the Titans, number 2 in the front office, Chad Brinker, spent 15 years in Green Bay, and it very much feels like he would have a dog in the fight. So again, I'm not saying he did it. I'm just not saying that they didn't do it. And I could see the Titans being the people that leaked the score. I don't know if it's true or not, but I could see it. That's not bad, right? That's not too bad of a conspiracy theory. Ask it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Texter says, what makes you think that they are going up for C.J. Stroud? Well, let's start with at the Combine, TD said they like C.J. Stroud the best. And then C.J. Stroud put on that unbelievable performance in his pro day workout. And so once he did that, it was like, well, he may go number one, so it's not even worth talking about. That's how long we've known they've liked him for. Then they sent 7 people to the pro day. But we felt like there was probably no chance after that they were going to be able to draft him. I mean, after his pro day, he was hugging Josh McCown, who's the quarterback's coach for Carolina. And Josh McCown was like, can't wait to see you in Carolina, get a house or something like that. So that's how long we've known that he was their top guy for. Then, all of a sudden, once we heard the Stroud starting to slip a little bit, we heard that yesterday Diana Rossini said that the Titans are looking to move up for a quarterback. After Diana had said on Thursday that the Titans, how about this reporting, by the way, with Diana? And I'm not throwing her under the bus because a reporter can only report what they're told. But on Thursday, Diana's report was Titans are looking quarterback, but they're not looking to go up to number 3. Right, Ian?
I think that's probably right. I think that's what she said. They're not necessarily, dead set on moving up to 3.
No, that they weren't interested in moving up to 3. Get the cut.
Okay, let me grab it real quick.
So I think she said that they were not interested in moving up to number 3, but that they were quarterback. That was Thursday. Friday, she went on with Buck across the street, and she said there's not one guy everybody in that building loves. Then Wednesday of this week, it's they love a guy and they'll do whatever it takes to get him. So how do we get from that to where we are now? Unless the Titans weren't telling the truth and now they are. Do we have that cut from Thursday? It's the one where she said that they would move up. Don't worry about it. 615-737-1025. We'll get back to your phones. 615-737-1025. Plus, I was really excited to debut this until all the news broke. The 5 Titans targets, my 5 guys for tonight, if they had the 11th pick, we'll get to that next. I'll unveil the Stillman and Company board. We'll do that. Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Oh, Hiller Plumbing.
Hey, I'm Ryan Johansson, and this is Smashville.
Back to Johansson, and Johansson tips it in with one hand on the stick.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford. Are you tired of April showers ruining your mood and turning your car into a muddy mess? Well, Newton Ford has a solution for you. I want to introduce the brand new Newton Rainproof car. Yes, you heard it right. Our cars are specifically designed to keep you dry during those pesky April showers. Our patented rainproof technology includes a roof that doubles as an umbrella, a windshield that repels water like a superhero, and tires that have built-in rain boots. With the Newton Rainproof car, you'll never have to worry about getting wet again. Say goodbye to ruined hair and soggy socks. And the best part? If you buy a Newton Rainproof car during the month of April, you'll get a free set of windshield wipers that sing in the rain. You can stay dry and shop our full selection of rainproof cars at newtonford.com and buy a car from the comfort of your dry home with Newton FastPass. It's the fast, easy, and dry way to buy your car online. So come on down to Newton Ford and make a splash with our rainproof cars. Hurry, the offer ends when the rain stops pouring, which could be never.
Hey, what's up? Teron Davenport here for Superbook Sports. Baseball season is back, and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. Make it all count this spring with Superbook Sports. Superbook is the best sports wagering app around, with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in Las Vegas. Plus, check this. Get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager in the same day. Don't let spring pass you by without winning money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville, with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service commercial and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro, or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $8,000 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Yeah, a lot of options for Houston, and many in this building in Nashville believe this draft starts with the Texans. So what are they going to do at 11? Well, this team is absolutely in play to try to trade out of that spot out of 11. So who have they spoken to? Well, they've had conversations over the last few days with the Arizona Cardinals. Sources I've spoken to have told me that no trade is in place. Nothing has been agreed upon, but the conversations have gotten very serious for the Tennessee Titans to move out of 11 to go up to 3. So what are they moving up for? I was told the approach here had nothing to do with specific position. This was about an individual player that the head coach and GM both agreed is the right choice and who they believe is the best player on the board for this team and the vision that they share. That those people being Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel, who I've told, or at least was told by people in this building today, that they have been lockstep in this process from this pick all the way through the different rounds. So all signs point to these things and this duo working. As we know, tonight is going to be a very exciting night for the new GM.
Wait a minute, what? So we think things are going to work here? Hey, all signs are pointing to this GM being a great GM because they're about to mortgage the farm for C.J. Stroud? I mean, maybe, but also maybe not. That was Diana a couple hours ago from the team headquarters when she was supposed to be in Indianapolis as of Friday, but now she's here because, I don't know, did the Titans tip her off that something was going to go down? The latest from Diana, 10 minutes ago, quote, as we are about 90 minutes out from the start of the draft, the Arizona Cardinals have yet to strike a deal with a team to trade out of number 3. A source in the building shared with me, being patient, no reason to rush. Well, that's because any team that trades up to number 3 wants to know who's going to be available at number 3 before they trade up to do it. Well, duh. By the way, this is what Arizona's doing right now. This is what Floyd said you did right before you made a trade in the draft.
All right. So we're sitting there. It's our pick. The phone rings. Pick it up, you'll start talking. They'll say something along the lines of, are you willing to trade out of 5? Yes, I am. Okay, we will give you, just as we said before, we will give you, 24, 57, 76. I look up on the board and I say, you know what? I don't want 76. I want 72 because I know you have another third-round pick. And they say, okay, fine. And then what you'll do one of two things. If it's a great deal, you'll go ahead and take it and say, fine, well, that'll be a deal. If not, you'll say, all right, let me call you right back. Hang up, and you'll have to sit around for a minute, because as just about the time you think you've got a deal done, the phone is going to ring again, and it's going to be another team, and they're going to say, hey, are you going to be willing to trade your 5th pick? Yes, I am. Well, I want it, and I'm willing to give you this, and that, and it might be better. So that's why people always wonder why people, especially in the first round, use up all of their time. That's generally the reason.
Okay, that's what Arizona's doing. The we're being patient is the we're waiting to see if somebody else calls us with a better deal. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We miss that man on days like today. Let's go to your phones. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Dan is up next on CJ Stroud. What's up, Dan?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Go ahead.
I said thanks for having me. I'll be pretty blunt with you here. I think the Titans would be idiots to trade up for the 3rd pick. They're just so far away from competing and being competitive, especially for a guy named, C.J. Stroud. Doesn't make them a competitor, maybe a playoff contender, but not a competitor. I'd really love them to see them trade back and go get a guy like Paris Johnson and Broderick Jones, and then a wide receiver. I'll be honest, getting those 2 guys as opposed to Stroud just makes so much more sense. I think
you're not going to get those 2 guys.
Well,
it's impossible for you to get both those guys
with the 2nd pick. Yeah, no, I think you get one lineman, let him play there for 10 years. Don't be sexy, be patient, go get some big hosses. It doesn't matter who's quarterback if they're running for their lives every down.
Well, so this is the one thing I'll say for everybody. Thank you for your call. The idea of we don't need a quarterback, we need to build around the quarterback, and then we need to go out from there. This is what I will say to that. The team that normally picks number 1 in a traditional season, we know that one's been traded, but when a team gets the number 1 pick in a traditional year where there are real quarterbacks on the board, who does that team always take? Quarterback. That team's not just the worst team in the NFL because they have problems at quarterback alone. That team's the worst team in the league for a lot of reasons. But they always start with the quarterback. So if the team that's picking number 1 is able to start quarterback and then worry about the holes later, how's that any different from you? And I don't understand that. Again, the Cincinnati Bengals a couple years ago were horrible everywhere, not just at quarterback. But they didn't sit there and say, well, I know Joe Burrow's the best player in this class, but we need to build the team around Joe Burrow before we get Joe Burrow, so let's take Andrew Thomas with the 1st overall pick instead of Joe Burrow. But that's what you're advocating for when you say we don't need a quarterback. Is you're saying, well, we need to fill the other spots first. Wait a minute, why? Now, I don't think it would be, and I've seen people that have texted into the text line about this idea of, we don't need to trade all the picks for a quarterback. I'm not convinced of that. I would trade these picks you're willing to trade for Stroud. I would trade them, but not for Stroud. But that's just my opinion here. And I would trade him for Richardson. One thing I do want us to at least kind of discuss and go over for a second, if we could. Just because you pick a lineman instead of picking a quarterback does not mean that the lineman is not going to be a bust. Isaiah Wilson was a bust. Chance Warmack was a bust. Dylan Radins was a bust. I mean, you have had plenty of players that are not quarterbacks that have been busts. That's the one thing I want everybody to at least remember. At least on some level or another. Man, the amount of people who hate listening to this show. Oof. Texter says they just signed their left tackle. Callers think that they can just trade back and get instant impact players. That's so true. I mean, last year you traded up for a first-round pick at 18, and you all hated the guy because he wasn't A.J. Brown.
Do you think Dillard is the starting left tackle? Too early to tell? I mean, is that contract pretty much penciled in for him as a starter?
I think that's a stinky contract. I don't think that's a good contract.
So that's not a contract that pretty much makes him the left tackle?
No.
You'd be okay with paying him that and making him the swing guy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because if you draft the guy, like Broderick Jones or whatever, and you put Broderick Jones at left tackle, you're still committed about the same amount of money to the tackle position. So it's not like it's really changing much. That's just my gut on it. Texter into the text line says, everybody knows that the Titans need a tight end. What are they going to do there? I do think they're going to go tight end in this draft. Oh, goodness gracious. Some of these texts. Texter says, I think you are onto something about Rand Carthon's answer to you, that C.J. Stroud is not his guy, that is Mike Vrabel running the entire franchise into the ground. It's kind of a hot take there from Rick. Oof. Boy, I tell you, I think they're going to trade for C.J. Stroud. And it makes me sick to my stomach. And the fact that Chris Sanders went to The Ohio State University and will celebrate this right next to me if they do that is going to be even more difficult. And I don't even know why I don't like C.J. Stroud that much, but I don't. 615-737-1025 will unveil the board, plus the betting odds. Who do they have the Titans going to in their pick? And if they stay at 11, who do the betting odds have available? We'll get to that coming up as well. Stillman and Company. And we are going to give something away here. But first, let me tell you about my friends at Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Sometimes replacing equipment in your home can be overlooked until something breaks. But you don't want to take the risk with big problems that can come from old, outdated, vintage HVAC systems. Older systems have higher repair costs, require more maintenance, and result in higher utility bills, and even worse, they can break down when you need them the most. This month, during Hiller's Vintage Showdown, they're giving away a free HVAC system to the owner of the oldest unit. It's easy to enter. Just go online to happyhiller.com and submit a picture of your old unit. Plus, everybody wins with trade-in credits with 0% interest financing for up to 48 months on replacements. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. My guys, call the Happy Face truck today. Be caller 5 right now at 615-737-1025, and you will win a pair of tickets to see Breaking Benjamin at First Bank Amphitheater on May 3rd. That's 615-737-1025. Good luck to you, Stillman and Company. We'll go over the board next. 1025, 1063 The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Laying waste to your town. Mastodon. Gojira. The Mega Monsters Tour. May 2nd at Nashville Municipal Auditorium. With special guest, Lord Ashore. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Total sensory overload. Mastodon and Gojira.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349, or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $59. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a Go Wise air fryer for just $79, or an Amana laundry pair for just $449 each. Now through Saturday. Shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines, made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with Moorbark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about Moorbark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
Men, this is Evan Bass with the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and I've been helping men with sexual health issues for many years. I've seen the pain and anxiety that men walk into the clinic with when erectile dysfunction is affecting them. And I also know the heartache and difficulty it can bring to their partner. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've been successfully treating men for ED for many years now. We've seen the amazing impacts that those treatments have on a man's confidence and positivity. And we've seen the wonderful things those treatments also do for a man's relationship. That's why I'm pleased to announce that we are now offering the same great services we offer at our Nashville clinic at our new location in Franklin, which will make it much more convenient for those men living south of Nashville to get treated. So call us today and book your appointment at our Midtown location or at our new clinic in Cool Springs. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments, extra results vary.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Bon appetit. Take some Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Some breads.
Roman Yossi.
Even some hoops.
Light fires. Wow.
Put it in a blender. And what do you have? Jason Michelle.
Pretty incredible.
Call or text and weigh in. The fastest 2 hours in sports radio. Weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. Strong opinions and a strong personality on your drive home. This is Stillman and Company, presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company, the draft show starts in less than 15 minutes live here from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs. Derek Mason and Chris Sanders will be with me. So I do want to get to the official Jared Stillman draft board. So here's what I did. Was I clustered everything, right? So instead of just like, these are all, what I did was I got the first set, the tier 1 guys who I think are elite level talents, tier 2, which is just a step below but still pretty good, and then I think we kind of start to get out of the first round range around the 16th or so pick. So the elite guys, and these are in order ranked by me. Number 1 is Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Number 2 is Tyree Wilson. Number 3, Bryce Young. Number 4, Jalen Carter. Number 5, Bijan Robinson. Number 6, Christian Gonzalez. Number 7, Will Anderson Jr. Number 8, Will Levis. Number 9, C.J. Stroud. Tier 2, Devin Witherspoon, Nolan Smith, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, but I do have an injury shield next to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Tier 3, Dalton Kincaid, Paris Johnson Jr., Kalijah Cansey, Lucas Van Ness. Tier 4, Emmanuel Forbes, and Hendon Hooker. To me, that's the board. That's my board in the tiers with which I will appreciate the 11th overall pick. I do have C.J. Stroud in the elite group, but for some reason I do not like all the rumors that are saying the Titans are going to trade up to 3 and draft C.J. Stroud. Titans and Truth is up next here on the program. Chris, thank you for calling. What's up, Chris?
Gary, we know why you don't like all the rumors of C.J. Stroud, because you have this infatuation with Anthony Richardson, which I pray to God the Titans don't do that. Because if they do, it will fail. It will fail. It will fail. So Jared,
how do you know that?
Because you're going to hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. He's Malik Willis 2.0.
How?
With more athleticism. He is.
He's 6'4".
That's the thing.
He actually played in the SEC, unlike Malik, who couldn't cut it.
I get it. But here's the thing. What were they saying about Malik Willis last year? Great arm talent, got the cannon.
They weren't saying that he had a better arm. Nobody said, Chris, that, and this is what a scout in the Bob McGinn piece said. Nobody said that he was Michael Vick with Brett Favre's arm, which is what they're saying about Anthony Richardson. Nobody was saying that Malik Willis had more talent than Patrick Mahomes, which is what they're saying about Anthony Richardson.
I'm telling you, Jared, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I get this feeling like it's just 53% accuracy issues short to intermediate. Yes, he is athletic, got speed. I give him that. And I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I will gladly tell you. But I don't see it. C.J. Stroud is the better option. He is the better option. He is more ready. Why do
I care about that? Why does it matter who's more ready right now?
Anthony Richardson's not ready.
Who cares?
You said it. He's a project.
But
He
who
just
cares?
failed on a project.
Chris, I'm glad you said this. Thank you for your call about the project. Ian, do you have the Shannon Sharp cut?
Yes, I do.
Okay, this was the day after the 2017 first round. This was Shannon Sharp's take. And I did not do this to be like, listen to what Shannon Sharp said, ha, ha, ha. But for all of you out there that say, Anthony Richardson's not ready, we don't want him, this is what Shannon Sharp said the day after the 2017 draft.
So Patrick Mahomes, I don't like it. I do not like this pick. I mean, and like I said before, projects. Quarterbacks is the only one they'll take a project, they'll sit him and wait. Oh, he's 2 years away. 2 years away, and you paid him $5-6 million a year for 2 years away? Everybody else that they draft, they expect them to be able to contribute right away.
Okay.
I love the Deshaun Watson trade because they didn't have to give up a whole lot to get him. But what they did, swap 25, and they give up next year's number one. But this is the best fit. He has the best team. He has the best pedigree. He has the best resume. That's good enough for me.
Okay, so Shannon Sharp did not like the Patrick Mahomes pick because he's a project, but he did like the Deshaun Watson pick. You want to know why he liked the Deshaun Watson pick over the Patrick Mahomes pick? Because he watched Deshaun Watson play in college. That's why. Because he's like, well, they beat Alabama, so he must be good. And that's what I think a lot of you all do when it comes to Stroud and Richardson and these other guys. You know, oh, I don't want to take a project. I think Mahomes has worked out pretty well. And guess what? That Kansas City team was the number 2 team in the AFC in 2016. And they lost to the Titans in the playoffs the next year. And were one and done and bounced. And they've been to 5 straight AFC championship games at home ever since then. Ricky is up next here on the program. Thank you for calling. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, Jared. How are you?
Good.
Jared, I could not agree more with you. This guy has got a SEC game for the last 6 years. I've watched every game he played this year. If I had to videotape it, if I had to watch it live, he's got a bazooka for an arm. He could run like the wind. And here's the best part. If they get him, you have Tannehill for one more year. He sits, he watches, he learns. Next year, it's his team. It gives us a chance to develop a couple wide receivers, take some receivers later in the draft, or sign some free agents, and he's a superstar. And I give him number 15, AR-15. We got a marketing scam going already.
I don't like
You were 100% on this, bro. Thank you for being the guy you are with this draft. I love it.
Thank you for the call. I do not like the AR-15 stuff. And neither does he, which I actually like about him. So here you go. Here's what the betting odds are saying as we kick it into the draft show. Right now, Bryce Young is minus 5,000 to go first overall. What does that mean? Do you know what that means, Chris? Minus 5,000? That pretty much, yes. It means it's pretty much a guarantee Bryce Young's going number 1 overall. Number 2, Will Anderson is a favorite at minus 190. C.J. Stroud creeping up at plus 250. Will Levis was number 2 earlier today in the show at the betting odds. So maybe somebody tries to get in there, take Stroud 2, and then the Titans make the trade and draft Anthony Richardson. Now, one can only hope. Number 3, C.J. Stroud, minus 115. That's the best it's been today, isn't it, Ian?
For sure.
I mean,
minus money.
Minus money for C.J. Stroud at number 3. And you know if it's minus money for C.J. Stroud at number 3, then it's not Arizona who's making that pick. So the odds-on favorite is that Tennessee will trade into that spot and take C.J. Stroud. Number 4, Will Levis is a minus money option now at minus 105. He and Anthony Richardson began the day at plus 125. Right now, Levis minus 105 to go at 4. We would assume that that's Indianapolis's pick. Number 5, which is where Seattle picks, Jalen Carter minus 250. This is crazy, Ian. This is the most minuses that I've seen.
For sure.
Since we've been doing this. Minus 250 for Jalen Carter. Second best is Anthony Richardson at plus 600. Devin Witherspoon, minus 200 at 6. That pick is held by Detroit. Tyree Wilson, plus 300 at 7. So 7, which has been Christian Gonzalez for a week, 7 is now led by Tyree Wilson, but there's a whole jumble of people that could be there with that Raider pick. 8, Atlanta, Bijan Robinson, plus 175. Bijan has been the leading option at 8 pretty much the whole time. Paris Johnson is now the leading option at 9 at plus 250 ahead of Darnell Wright. at plus 450. Darnell Wright has been the leader in the clubhouse all week. Now Paris Johnson has taken over at number 9. And number 10, Peter Skoronsky at plus 300. So that means, according to this, Anthony Richardson would be available with the 11th pick. I'm just saying. I don't think he will be in real life, but I'm just saying. The Draft Show. Chris, Derek, that's next. Stillman and Company, live from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs, 102.5 through the game.